Welcome to the Damaged Goods podcast with myself, Jess Robert, and my partner in life, business, and now in podcast, Ilva.
Ooh, I like it.
This is the very first episode, so if you're here from the beginning, thanks for being one of our day one. If we're now on episode 100 and you've been binge watching and you went all the way back to the beginning, thanks for binge watching. A quick thank you to DeMello Paletha Coffee House. I loved their Dancing Goats house blend. It was delicious, but you can also find more flavors at their Yonge and Eglinton location or on their website, hellodemello.net. Big thanks as well to lyricvids.com, the web's #1 lyric video animation company. We're here today with our very first guest, super awesome. He's Australian, he's a rapper, he's a producer, he's a photographer. He's a part of Beers and Other Shit podcast. He's Notion. There he is.
What's good, guys?
What up, Nosh?
Mate, chilling. Thanks for having me, bro.
Thanks for being the very first guest
It's my pleasure.
of Damaged Goods.
Yeah.
What do you think of the studio?
It's lit, bro. I didn't expect to see this level of production value.
Production value.
Production value.
From episode 1.
I'm talking
Hear that?
Props, lights, mate.
Listen,
Let's go.
this is not one of those podcasts where we're fucking around,
Not fluffing around.
filming in our bedroom with an unmade bed behind us.
It happens.
Not to take shots at other podcasts. You know what's really funny is I've been talking for 5 seconds and I'm already taking shots at other podcasts for no reason at
No
all.
names, no
Mate,
names.
just ready for war.
But yeah, man, I'm so excited. I've been wanting to do this for a really long time.
Yeah.
I listen to podcasts the way that other people watch like NFL football, like just like a super fan of the medium. And I know Jess is, and she listens to a lot of different podcasts than me, and it's really fun for it to kind of come together into this idea. And we've had a few podcast ideas here in the our brains of this little family over the years.
Yeah, for sure. The reason we have DeMello as the coffee
That's right.
sponsor was because this actually started out as a coffee-themed podcast. And as Anthony came on board with me and stuff, it kind of shifted.
Because
and
I don't drink
developed.
coffee.
No, he doesn't drink
So
any coffee.
there will be a lot of coffee being drunk on this podcast, I imagine.
And to be honest,
But
even
on
though
your
I'm a
end.
coffee drinker, I don't really know a lot about coffee. So I kind of thought about that concept, and I'm like, I really kind of like your beer. You guys probably know so much about beer, and you can probably add so much value to a podcast like that. But I'm like, what am I really going to say about coffee other than that I drink it?
There's a point where you don't know anything, so you got to start somewhere. So
Yeah, that's
I
true.
might as well learn while you're on camera.
That's
and then people
true.
can see the journey. We've done
All
the same
right,
thing.
bringing back the coffee
Done the
podcast.
same thing. Let's do it.
Well, this is the thing, is now it's a little bit more open. So I think at times, if you're going to be drinking coffee, then yeah, let's be drinking, you should be drinking good coffee.
Yeah.
And then you can talk about it and that stuff as well.
Yeah.
I know we've got you here today, so we'll talk a little bit about beer at some
course,
point,
of course.
because that's your thing.
how we
But
do
it's it could kind of be anything.
That's true.
So for people who mess with me, when I was a younger boy, I tried podcasting a couple of times. I did a rap music themed podcast first. That probably would have been close to 8 or 9 years ago now. Yeah, something like that. And that was fun, but it always felt so limiting to be just talking rap music. Like that was cool, but the more I grew, that's not just the only thing I wanted to be talking about. And then after that, I did a podcast with your brother, who we'll talk a little bit more about, and eventually we'll have him on here.
Of course.
And it was a little bit more kind of what we'll talk, which is just like everything. And that's C. And the podcast we had is Everything is Everything.
Yeah, that's it.
The problem with that podcast, as I kind of give the post-mortem on my podcast history, is that it was done by Skype, because C
Yeah.
is a legend in Montreal.
That's it.
And that seemed cool at first, but Skype combos are so weird.
Oh man, the audio's horrible. Doesn't always sync up right.
And you're there's always this 5-second delay.
Yeah, listen to when
It's the worst.
Yeah.
So we murdered that podcast and buried it in the backyard. And now we're back when I think we got it right. You know what I mean? And as a tribute to the dead podcasts of past, we've got Notion, who is a rapper, so that serves up my original theme.
There you go.
And you're C's bro, so it's kind of like tribute to the Movement fam. I'm wearing the hat today.
Repping. You see?
Wearing the
Look at that.
Movement fam
Day
hat
one,
for the crew.
Yep.
And of course, you broken just like us. So
Yeah.
here we are on Damaged Goods.
Love it.
So why don't we talk a little bit about Nosh? Nosh, why don't you tell us a little bit about you? Who are you, man?
Oh man,
Because I know who you are. I'm sick of you, but the people listening have no idea who you are because you're not famous at all.
I'm just a bloke, you know.
So what's your deal?
Melbourne, Australia. MC, producer, engineer, and photographer. Basically, just living the dream, man.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
So how I met you is as a hip hop artist.
Yes.
Notion.
Yep.
Part of the movement fam.
Yep.
Your brother's also an MC, and it's kind of a collective around you guys. And you've got some other friends and artists and DJs that you roll with. Mm-hmm. And then you got into some other stuff. You mentioned photography.
Yeah, photography's been with me since like high school. So
cool.
14, 15, shooting film, developing like everything. School had a good photography program. So I got my eye from that. Then we used to shoot movies and stuff like that. I made a whole bunch of commercials. I've had a lot of experience with that. So that's where it all came from. Seemed to have a decent eye. I wasn't too, I originally wanted to be a cameraman. I wanted to be a sports cameraman for like Channel 9. That's pretty much.
What's Channel 9?
Channel 9 is just a regular station. When I was like 10.
This is Aussie channels?
Aussie channels. Channel 9 is like, I don't know about anymore. But decent sport channel back in the day. I just wanted to be a cameraman. That was what I wanted to be. So that was the initial dream. So I guess it all started from there. So when I went traveling around Europe and stuff, I bought like a Canon XS40, like one of the first like 4 megapixel joints, point and shoot, tiny little thing.
Right.
Took like 12,000 photos in a few months and just really got the hang of it, so to speak. Did my 10,000 hours and then just, I don't know, I kind of had a hiatus for a while. Didn't buy anything after that one, kicked the bucket. And then got a camera a few years ago for Christmas and then just slowly upgraded from there. And then I just dove in, just doubled down a bit more.
So is it kind of a coincidental thing where you got back into photography? Because even though you say you've been doing photos for a minute, in the entire time I've known you primarily as an MC, as a musician. You mix and master my albums. And then out of nowhere, to me, you start taking photos.
It definitely did come back out of nowhere.
And so was it just kind of random? Like you came back into a camera and it's suddenly like your old flame is back in your life again?
That's exactly right. And then just
I love that.
The features on this one was crazy. I was watching YouTube tutorials, everything. And I didn't seem to lose my eye with framing, that sort of stuff. That's what I seem to be good at. And then, upgraded the kit, bought a new lens, like all that sort of stuff. So now it's crazy. I'm doing content photography freelance.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool, eh?
Yeah. Kenny's done some of your photos, right?
Some of my favorite pictures of me.
Yeah, your album.
That's right. The Neo Blues record. You did the photography for that one. And actually, there's a poster coming up for my April 20th release party that features a picture that you took of me on it. I love your style. That's I talk a lot to my young artist homies about photography. And it's funny because it's not really what I wanted to open today talking about, but I think it's really interesting. Photos are so powerful. I love great photos. They're easy to take in. They you can take 1,000 of them in one day. You know what I mean? You switch up your outfit and you can take a bunch more. And your whole style and like approach to photography has been really cool because I didn't know you as a photographer. But now you're one of my favorite guys to take pictures with.
Thank you, man.
And I really enjoy checking out your stuff. And now you mentioned the content photography. It's kind of got into like the beer.
Yeah.
So you're taking pictures of beers.
Blended into our other hobby that's turned into another career path now.
How'd that happen?
So C started with this thing called 365 days of beer. You have to drink 365 different beers within 365 days.
And did he pull it off?
Mate, he finished early, if anything. So, but he wasn't drinking every day. So what happened was you have to take a photo of the beer or with yourself, and then you have to like write a small review about it. And once he got to 365, like C's a little bit OCD, he'll tell you that, and he just didn't stop. He fucking loved it. And Scott Beer Cole, and myself, we were living together. So he was in the basement, all in the one house, Bloor and Ossington, when we first came here, and we just like would cheer each other on, and we just kept going, and we just were on this all of a sudden on this fucking journey, craft beer journey, and we just went to the LCBO, started here, started there, next style.
So did he get to more because he would like buy more than one beers for one day and like take like 3 of the pictures in one day type thing?
Sometimes we do.
Then you said he didn't have to drink every day,
Exactly.
so then he wouldn't.
So like on a Saturday, we'd get 6 to 8 out the way, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you can really, that's why he finished it like day 230, something, whatever it was. And he finished early, so he's like, fuck it, gonna keep going. And then it got like real serious. And then we started doing the podcast. So we did them via Skype. So Scott would come to my house and then we'd do it on that. And it was cool, kind of worked. Other times Scott will go up to Montreal.
After you knocked it.
And then, yeah.
I didn't like it. I didn't like the Skype.
Well,
Skype
I did a
cast
few
experience.
of those. So then, like, they tried to do all in person. Then they were huddling over a one mic with the figure 8 on it.
Yeah.
So it was all up in their business. And then just stemmed from there. We started going on location to different places. We made a set at Scott's house, and it just went crazy, man. So the podcast life blended with the photography, like.
So, and just to bring it to kind of around now you're part of the team for BAOS. That's beer and other shit.
Yeah.
And what's the team? That's yourself, your brother, and then there's that third. I can't remember his name. I'm bad at that.
There's Scott.
Scott, that's right.
Scott Beer Cole, and Tiffany is the producer as well.
Tiff, of course.
So Tiff and I do the camera work, and she does all the editing, and which I believe now King Richard is doing that as well.
Cool.
I do all the audio engineering for that, and most of the content photography for the BAOS podcast, Instagram, and Facebook. So yeah.
And you guys review craft beers.
Yep.
You go visit breweries.
Talk to
you meet the brewmasters. They talk about their recipes.
Talk
You
about
guys
the
go deep
history.
as far as on beer. It goes about as deep as you could go.
Goes so deep. Yeah, we literally like ask for their entire story, their background. C and Craig and Tiff, they've gone to Vermont, they've gone to San Diego, all through California.
Visiting
They've
these various brewers and stuff.
they've literally visited the best breweries in the
That's
world.
really cool.
And the rep we've got from going around all the states and coming back home to explore our own backyard now, it's crazy, man. Like, people are really paying attention in North America. It's nuts.
And you guys are one of the inspirations for this podcast because
Word.
I know I'm really proud. I got C into podcasting when we did our Everything is Everything podcast.
Yes.
He had never heard of podcasting at that point. He had heard of it, but he had not started listening and didn't really wasn't interested in the medium.
didn't dive in.
So we
Okay.
kind of got him in. We got him into it, and it's been really
he does it
amazing
he's daily on
watching what he's done with it since. Well, we've been sleeping on it. And this last year, while you and I have been kicking this podcast idea around.
You must have learned a lot about podcasting since then too, because that
So
was a while
much.
ago, right?
It's been a couple of years, and I've become a bigger fan. And again, just watching the homie take his interest in beer. And what's funny about beer is everybody likes beer.
Yeah.
So it's something that a million other rappers could have done, in theory. I know a lot of rappers who drink craft beers at the bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you guys really made a lane for yourselves that never existed. There was nobody before you doing that. You really built something from scratch. And so that's a big inspiration for what we did here. And when we started fighting over this wallpaper and
Oh no.
and putting up the decor, I was really driven by y'all's success because I watched you build something. I watched it become this thing. I watched people care about it.
Yeah.
I've got friends on my socials who I know are beer drinkers. And then over time, I see them all on y'all's podcast stuff because they're seeing, oh, this is the cool beer podcast.
Yeah.
And they want it, and they want to follow along. I myself suck at drinking beer. I always drink the easiest to drink beer.
You're a Stella man.
I'm Stella. The fact that you know that means I love you. I drink Stellas and other.
It's a shame. I'm going to have to wean you onto like at least some
Listen.
Lost Craft or something, mate. You know?
Can you help me with something right now?
What?
I have been awkwardly ordering beers for a long time
Okay.
because I don't know what to call what I like. So I get to the bar, and I'm always like, "Can I have something easy to drink?" And they're like, "That's an insane beer order. I don't know what that means."
So your question is like, what is a Stella?
like, what do I
is
say?
Stella?
What do I say to the bartender when I want smooth like Stella or like I like steam whistle? I like the sort of what I think of being basic bitch beers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Stella is a lager,
okay.
and a steam whistle is a pilsner.
So those are different though.
Yes.
So what is
But
the
they're
commonality?
so pilsner
Because they're
would
not
be-
hoppy. Is that the thing?
Not really. No, they do have hops in them, but they're lager. So it's a different process. So pilsners are more or of a watered down, super clear, old school style of beer. Pilsner
Okay.
is one of the most easiest drinking beers you'll
Sure.
get.
So generally
if you
speaking-
said the easiest drinking shit you have, they'll get you a fucking pilsner RKL.
Okay, so maybe when I'm like in Utah at some hole in the wall, I just order a pilsner.
Or pilsner or a lager. Yeah, anything.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And a
that-
lager is a lager also generally speaking easy to drink?
Yes.
What should I be avoiding if I don't like stinky, thick, like hoppy beers?
Like any sort of like macro IPA.
IPA, so that's what I'm avoiding.
Yeah, you would be, yes.
Me.
For sure.
I'm not saying beer
you don't want-
consumers.
yeah, you don't want... You want
People at
you
home,
don't
I'm
want
sure
bitter
you
things.
love the
Anthony's
stinky hoppy
very, very
beers.
picky.
Mate,
I like basic bitch beers,
right.
and that's okay.
They're not bitch beers, bro.
No,
you can
but-
get good
no,
versions
basic
of what you
bitch.
like.
I mean,
but
as
they're
in like
basic,
I have
yeah.
no style when it comes.
We
to
love you,
drinking beer.
Stella. Sponsor us.
No, I listen. When I play shows out of town, pretty often, the promoter has Stella's waiting for me
That's cool, man.
because I'm so easy to please and I only like one thing.
And you post about it all the time.
And I post
so
about
they're
it.
like,
So
yeah.
I would be a great spokesperson for Stella
Yeah,
because
you
I'm
would.
already loyal without the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't got to give me much. You already have my loyalty.
Yeah, no, I'd have to skip that one, mate.
No?
No, not anymore.
Do you drink Stella or no?
Honestly, if there's absolutely nothing else, maybe I might. Dude, I've become a beer snob.
The
eh?
more Stella for me,
example,
then, bruh.
for example, I'm drinking some Nickelbrook Pineapple Incident. It's
Nickelbrook.
dropped like a
see
week
this.
ago. Shout out to Nickelbrook in Burlington. These guys are fantastic. Been a fan
Pineapple
of them from
dry
the start.
hopped
Goza.
Gosa.
Goza. It's like a
What
sour.
the fuck is
Can
that?
you taste the pineapple in it?
You certainly can.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Do you
honestly-
approve, Jess? Would you drink pineapple
I would
beer?
drink that for sure.
This is like
Notion already
I'd probably
drank it all. He
prefer
didn't
that
think to
over
share any with you.
Beery
So.
tasting beer. I don't know.
it's like a fruity, tangy pineapple beer.
Do you like fruity beers?
do. A lot of the IPAs I drink are fruity AF.
That's cool. I always, because again, I'm really not good at this. I think of fruity beers as being like, no one drinks that. But
Like a
is there
Fruity.
is there a big market for like fruity?
Yeah, summertime, bro. Like for
niche
example,
beers?
there's a beer called Fruity. Like it's a raspberry or a strawberry beer. Like it's
And am I correct to say that that's like a growing market? Like it wasn't
definitely
as
is,
popular
yeah.
like 10 years ago, but now like everybody.
When
drinks,
everyone was drinking like Coors.
yeah, and people are jumping on the Radler. Like people are jumping on all different kinds of things now. So they're really switching it up, man.
How
People-
much do you judge somebody who orders a Coors Light in front of you?
Now a fair bit because it just says a lot about it says a lot about their character in so many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like they don't. I don't know, just explore the fucking.
I
beer world,
definitely
man. It's
order
huge.
Coors Light sometimes.
That's okay. Well, I mean, I love you still. No love lost there, but I'm just saying, like, if someone orders this like a Budweiser, I mean, you have to be at a shithole and they have nothing else. Like, I wouldn't really drink a Budweiser these days. But
Yeah.
we have like this segment.
I hate
on the,
Budweiser so much.
on the on the BAOS podcast where they have a lightning round and they say like, what beer would you decline under any circumstances?
That's a good question.
And some people's answers are fucking awesome, but like I would decline.
What's the answer for you?
For me, a Pabst, a PBR. They're the
Really?
fucking worst.
And you know what's
beer
funny?
ever made.
That's what I like grew up on. So it's like a nostalgic taste.
It's super hipster though. People still fucking love it, even though
I
they
think
know it's
'cause
shit.
In a lot of small towns, I think some places that was all they had at the bars or
True.
whatever, or it was the cheapest thing at the bars. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people it just tastes like home, you know?
Yeah, last time C and I had a PBR was the same night. We're doing a show in Montreal. We did a show with Hezekiah and like was part of that tour.
Yeah.
And there was a blizzard, like legit whiteout. There was like 30 people there, and it was such a horrible turnout because we were expecting like 150, whatever it was.
Sure.
And the dude at the bar was just like, "Look, man, it's a shit show. Fuck, like, do you want some beer, dude?" Like, "Oh, okay, sure." And he's just like, "Yeah, you can have as many Pabs as you want." We had like, I don't know, 7, 8, and we just had the most wretched hangover the next day, dude. I've never felt so horrible for so long. Like,
I'm just
turned me
so
off
cheap.
completely.
I'm so cheap. And when I go into a bar and there's like a chalkboard that's like selling me Pabs from the minute I walk in for like $1.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's just like tonight only. Pabs.
dollar pints.
$1. And
Throw
you're
up in
like,
the
I mean,
morning.
I guess.
feel horrible. It's a shitty
You
price
know?
beer, but yeah. I mean, that's one beer I would definitely decline.
Okay. So you're
Every time.
not into it.
No.
So if there's no other beer and there's Pabs, will you still skip it? Like, you know, I'll
dude.
save myself.
I'll get a rum and whatever.
Sure,
I'll
okay.
just switch
Yeah,
it
no,
up.
okay, I like it.
I'll do that. Good. Yeah, gone too far into the rabbit hole.
And what's your favorite beer? And I'm giving you kind of an impromptu
Favorite
lightning
beer,
round of your
favorite
own
style or my
podcast.
favorite actual beer.
Your favorite? If you were to be death row, one last beer,
Oh shit.
what beer would you get?
Oh man.
And you have to think of it quickly, so I don't want one of these like
All right, cool.
you mull over it for a week.
I'd probably go something from Bellwood's, either a Jutsu, which is a pale ale, or I would do like something from Collective Arts.
Collective Arts. We have a Collective Arts beer here somewhere.
Oh, do you?
Is that the one I got?
Yeah, that's the one that you got.
I forgot to bring
Probably get
it
one of
in
their
here, but
IPAs
I
at
can-
some
I can
point.
go
But
grab it,
yes,
yeah.
that on a quick answer, that would be yeah.
That's awesome. I was honestly so self-conscious about the surprise beer choice that I made, and so it's great that you said that. Now I don't know; they might probably have lots of different. Flavors,
Sure.
They've got
so I don't
stacks, but
know,
they're very, very good.
Today, before we're done, we'll do a little beer tasting, and you can maybe tell us what we're drinking.
We can give you a 10-second beer review live on camera.
Oh wow,
we do
that's
those
right.
on Instagram.
So what's the 10-second beer review? Let's set it up so that when we do it, people will understand. What is
So
the
essentially-
10-second beer review?
on the BAOS podcast Instagram? We literally, it started from Snapchat because you get 10 seconds. So it's just like, what up, y'all? 10-second beer review, drinking a beer A from Brewery X. It's hoppy, bitter, sweet, get it in ya. And we always finish with get it in ya, which is our tag, which in turn turned into a beer that we just made.
That's right.
Sawdust City.
Let's touch on that.
Yeah. So long story short, a month ago, the whole crew went up to Muskoka. We went to Gravenhurst. and brewed the beer with the boys. We made an Australian double IPA called Get It In Ya, and it's made all with Australian hops. So Galaxy, Victoria's Secret, and Ella. And we all had a hand in brewing it. Like I poured in some oats and some hops, and we all did it. We vlogged the whole thing. Episodes on our YouTube, so go check it out. And we did that with the boys. So Sam and the whole team were phenomenal. They put us up at their hotel and everything.
So who's the partner? Who brewed it?
So Sam is the owner of Sawdust City. So Sam
Sawdust City.
Sawdust City, yeah.
Okay. I'm just translating for people who don't speak Australian.
Oh, true.
Sawdust City is the brewer. Okay.
Yeah, one of the best Ontario brewers. So breweries coming up. So we just did the beer there. It was such a fun day. We just made a whole thing out of it. And then we had the launch of it at Bar Hop on Queen and Peter last Tuesday.
Okay.
And we had a bunch of beer community people come through, and we had the official launch.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. So the can has C and Scott's face on it, and it has C's trademark Get It In Your face on it. And
Can you get us a beer for our display?
I'll get you a can, yeah.
We'll put it somewhere.
Cool.
That'll be sweet. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Because that's so cool.
It was crazy, man. Honestly, dream come true. Like,
Tell you what.
it started off with Craig reviewing beers, and now all of a sudden,
And it's a beer.
all over the joint. Now we have a beer with his face on it. It's insane, bro.
This podcast, the furthest thing it's supposed to be is like motivational. That's not at all. Like that's not the voice of it at all.
Yeah. And you can do it too.
And I'm drinking whiskey. I'm about to light up. We're about to talk more shit about other people.
I love it.
But
no, that's not what it's about.
It's a joke. It's a joke. All I mean is we're gonna talk some shit. It's not motivational. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But in saying that,
it's everything.
In saying that, I would like to think that over time you're going to catch a common theme of the thing that gets me the most excited is your brother C, incredible entrepreneur and human and artist. You see him launch an idea and then follow it through, and now his face is on a beer can you could go buy and drink. And as a beer fanatic, that's like bucket list stuff.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And like I'm excited about this podcast right now. Like my nipples are hard AF.
I got AK bullets,
and
mate.
as of this moment, we have 0 listeners. I have 2 listeners, and it's you guys. So to just even think about going through to the fruition of that, where your face is on, you know what I mean? Like the cereal box metaphorically is just like, that's so cool.
Yeah,
I think
it's
it's
really cool.
synced in. Like the boys, like C was just saying the other day, like on when they do beer mail episodes, so we just review beer, like one or two. And he's just saying, like, he's still pinching himself, hasn't really sunk in. Like, I mean, they turn the can around, their bloody faces on it. It's insane. Like,
I'm excited.
Phenomenal. Yeah, the opportunity was crazy, and yeah, it means a lot.
So, what do you have coming this in 2018? This is episode 1. We're going to spend the year promoting this podcast, and hopefully everybody who comes on board and checks it out, the first thing they're going to hear is about my boy Brad, Notion.
Bam.
What do you got coming up? What's in for 2018?
Mate, there's a lot on the plate. From Notion's music standpoint, I have an EP and an album coming.
Sure. And what are those titles?
So the EP is going to be called Notion Island. It's going to be the start of an EP series I'm going to do with one producer. So the first one's going to be with my homie Eric Eggward. So it's all his beats. I think I've done a couple co-productions, but it's all his, and I'm just rapping on however I flex on it.
And you said that's going to be a series. Is
gonna
every
be
project
EP,
going to have a different producer? That's
Exactly.
fun.
So the next one's going to be the homie Prospect from Australia, and the third one will be me. And actually, no, I'm going to ask Clarity. Clarity, let's figure it out. So that was the idea, but that's, the EP series is, ongoing. But definitely this year, you're going to have Volume 1, Notion Island Volume 1 with Eggward, and then you're going to have a Notion album, second album, which I have no title for.
Okay.
But I have at least 10 tracks chosen, so I don't know.
Cool.
It's in the works. And
Do I get my favorite style Notion on any songs? I'm a big fan of singing Notion.
Yeah. Oh, that's what. Yeah, I previewed a song the other day
right,
to you.
you
So I
did.
did get my little sing song on.
I'm really loving where you've gone production wise.
Thanks, man.
In the last 2 years. In our little music minute, Notion is an incredible producer. What he used to be very much known for was being one of the best like boom bap producers I knew. And you've really done a great job of evolving, producing more modern styles, a lot of pop music and soul music. So it's really, really dope, man.
Yeah, I had to step it up, man, because like I had a lot of people asking me like, "Yo, I love your beats and shit, but do you have any trap stuff? Do you have any sexy R&B joints?" So,
sexy R&B joints.
for example,
those are the joints.
Yeah, and I've been collaborating with a couple other producers. My homie Ben Tramer, he's out in like a Etobicoke way, so we are at the opposite ends of the bloody GTA.
Sure.
But every now and again, I'll go to his, he'll come to me. We meet up every few weeks, and he's pretty nice on the keys, and we both vibe together when we know what we want. So for example, last year in February, I would dedicate February to making sexy R&B beats for the whole month.
So,
I've got some for Dave Archer, some Andrew Cameron.
Is this real? So let's stop the train because you caught me on you caught my interest.
Okay.
So is this real? Like the month of February, you're gonna make sexy beats, or is that like an example?
That's what I did. So January was like boom bap, straight up gonna kill you bars. Like
what's coming up? What month are you in right now?
So February is gonna have to be So it is sexy R&B month.
It's sexy R&B month.
February 14th, we have our Valentine's Day mixtape dropping for the 10th year in a row, bro.
Wow, that's fun.
That's something that we started obviously a decade ago, and just gonna keep going with that same theme. So I do set myself aside like some sort of guideline to make. So yes,
that's really cool.
Sexy R&B month.
So we'll get into you giving all your socials at the end, but just to wrap up, talking about what you got coming this year. If you're loving Notion's vibe and you want to check out some of his music, you're on all the streaming platforms.
All of them.
You can find Notion, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, social media.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah, Notion baby for social media, but Notion you can find it on everything. I'm verified on all.
If someone's a photography enthuhusiast, they can check you out probably on Instagram. It's the best place to mess with you.
On Instagram, and it's Note Studios.
I love that.
So yeah.
So since this is our first episode, why don't we be a little bit blockier than we'll be in the future? In that we've chatted with Notion about his amazing repertoire of abilities. And he hasn't said the word cunt once, and I'm super proud of him.
Thank you.
I'm the first person to drop it in a conversation with Notion.
It wasn't me.
But I used it in relative context to my Australian friend.
Yes.
Why don't we talk about some of the other stuff that we wanted to talk about as well? I'm going to light up my joint.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm also going to break the third wall just for a moment because I'm being paranoid. Can you also make sure that the levels are all lovely between the three? I just want to make sure everything... Okay, cool.
I have been checking.
Sure, just want to make sure.
Yeah, it looks all good.
Okay, good. I'm going to light up, and I would love to talk about some of our version of the other shit.
Right.
And maybe you could bring something up.
Well, let's talk about the wallpaper.
Let's do that. Yeah, let's do that.
Because everyone keeps those statuses are like everyone loves the wallpaper argument. So basically, if you haven't read this, we've been posting about having arguments about wallpaper. And the way the first one started is we were choosing what kind of brick wallpaper. If you're watching the video of this, you can see this brick behind us. If you're just listening to
really
the audio,
beautiful.
It's amazing.
There's amazing faux brick. It's wallpaper. It looks really cool. Actually, funny thing that happened today, there's a bunch of lights around it too that you'll see, and we realized that we couldn't record our video with them because they were doing that weird flashy.
It looks so good with the lights on too. I'm so disappointed.
So we're gonna get some new lights. Don't you guys worry. But back to the wallpaper. So the first time we were looking on, I think like Amazon or whatever for wallpaper, we found 2 different prints of wallpaper, and we had a big argument over which print we should choose.
We almost broke up.
We almost broke up.
No, it's not true.
Ultimately, we went with the one that Anthony liked, not because he won the argument.
I did.
No, he didn't.
I did.
But because the one that I wanted was not available Amazon Prime, which means it comes like the next day.
Whack.
Yeah.
But his was available.
Amazon Prime has that good taste.
The second to order it, I wanted to have...
This is the reality. Amazon Prime was like, the other wallpaper is not up to snuff for our Prime program.
It was fine. Do you know what he said to me when he was in his rage about my choice of wallpaper?
My rage.
He said, that looks like a wallpaper that Simon Cowell would have up in his living room. That was his defense. He just thought, it was so similar to this one. It just, instead of having the yellow flecks in it, it was all one solid kind of blue-gray color.
So it just lacked all the color and personality of my wallpaper.
I thought it looked more uniform and nice. Now, I agree that this looks really nice, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Look how good it looks.
For the sake of the argument, it would have looked nice either way. Second wallpaper argument we got into, and then this one was completely my fault, and I will take the blame.
I'm going to record that and make a GIF with that line.
No, I'm okay, thank you.
Jessica doesn't smoke weed.
Well, I've got to offer, bro. I'm a gentleman.
Second wallpaper argument was when we were putting it up. I was like, I got this, babe. I actually used to do it with my mom. I've done it like a couple times, I think, when I was a kid. I'm like, oh, you buy the paste, you read the instructions. It's super easy.
You do an Italian accent.
So I measured the wall, and it was very careful measuring each strip of wallpaper to make sure it perfectly fit the wall. Cut them all. So I used all our wallpaper. Cut them all into the strips.
That's the key part right there.
Yes. Forgetting that you have to... because it's bricks, you have to line it up so that each
you can't just cut it randomly,
locks into the next brick.
And assume that it will all sync up perfectly.
Yeah, I hope this is making sense to everyone. Or actually, you know what? I hope it's not, because then you'll be like, oh, I understood why she made that mistake, because I wouldn't have thought of that either. But I just didn't think that you needed to cut it at a certain spot in the paper because the bricks didn't need to line up. So anyways, we figured it out and we fixed it. But
I yelled and then I fixed it. As I do.
And we're still together.
As I do.
Fantastic.
So yeah, this is our set. And I think the other thing about the set and the reason that we put so much into it and we had so many fights about it was it really mattered to me and to us that we were like making like a vibe. I wanted the spot to feel like a destination. When the guest is coming in, they feel like they're coming into this space they've seen on YouTube with the millions and millions of views, and just like little things that can kind of take you somewhere. So just that you're not in the guest room of our castle. You know what I mean? It's you actually get a vibe of like, you know, all these little toys and the lights and even just the exposed brick to kind of just bring you out of it and make it a thing. And I like it, and I'm really happy. And the spot behind me that's open right now, it's the only spot on the decor. The camera can't see this, but I'll show y'all at some point. We're gonna put my album on vinyl when it comes in, because Anti-Gravity, we're doing a limited run of vinyl. It'll be the first time I've ever done that, maybe the last time, depending on how things go. That's right. And so we're gonna put that up in that last spot, and then just continue to add to it. So future guests, if you're watching this, preparing for you coming on, bring gifts. Bring things like the beer can with your face on it.
Yes,
I would love
we would love stuff
to add it to.
Everyone has to bring something.
You don't have to.
You have to.
But the idea is, especially if you've got something like that, I would love for this to turn into like this like wall of achievements.
Instead of signing the wall, you have a can from us, and
it's like
everyone
a little
can have like a
signature.
Well, if someone comes more famous than you, I might let them sign my wall.
Of course, mate.
Nobody's writing on this wallpaper, okay?
We'll see how my
gonna
we'll see
sell
how
it
my guest
afterwards?
booking goes. If I get like one of my favorites in here, then we might have to change that.
They could sign something else. They don't just sign our wall.
I don't know. I like the idea of signing like right on one brick.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
If we get Joe Rogan in here, he's signing this brick right here.
Okay, well, if Joe Rogan is in here,
frame it?
yeah.
Let's be real. Joe Rogan doesn't go anywhere. That's never happening. It doesn't matter how big this podcast gets. But yeah, I wouldn't be mad at people signing bricks as we go. But for now, we'll hold off. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I dig it.
Yeah, and these boxes with the little grass in the back, we could always add more of these,
can
add
switch
more
it up.
stuff from people.
It could be seasonal boxes.
Yeah,
Seasonal
totally.
boxes.
Seasonal boxes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fictional characters.
Just put your name on the wall. Nosh, do you feel special?
I fucking mate. It's in lights. It's next to the lights.
Today,
I do feel special. Thank you.
today's special, Notion.
It's the thought of the day.
So let's talk about Shark Tank. Do you watch Shark Tank at all?
I've seen it a couple of times.
You should
but
watch
I know
it.
what the
First of
deal
all,
is, yes.
you should watch it.
I should.
Just
know.
we'll get into what it is in a moment. You should watch it.
Or do you watch Dragon's Den at all? It's like the Canadian version.
That's
of
what
Shark
I've seen. I've seen that more,
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't. I don't
They're
have TV,
they're
so
essentially the same.
They're both really good.
I
I
know.
prefer Shark Tank, but they're both good.
Is that the American one?
It's
Does
the
it have Mark Cuban on it?
It does, which is
That's-
why I
that's-
prefer it.
Right.
Because
Mark
Mark
Cuban
Cuban
is
is a
a G.
legend.
Isn't he sometimes on the Canadian one, or that's
No.
Robert?
It's Robert and Mr. Wonderful, who we'll
Yeah,
talk about in
yeah,
a
yeah.
moment, is on the Canadian one.
Yeah.
Cool.
One of the ideas that I heard recently, I find that the ideas that I like most on there are the ones that don't end up getting picked, maybe because the person was a little bit disorganized or whatever. But sometimes they have this amazing idea that I'm hoping that's like, oh, I hope they don't have a patent for that, because someone else could make that idea awesome. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
And the one that I heard recently was an app that connects with retailers, and basically, so let's say you like H&M or whatever. You go to this app and you pick an H&M item, and you're like, when this goes down to $20, notify me.
Yeah.
So essentially,
Smart,
when stuff
eh?
goes on sale, they'll send you an email saying, hey, that item you love finally went down to
market right
$20. And you get to say, not even just when stuff goes on sale, it's like you get to list your own price. So it's like, let me know when this gets down to $5 or whatever. And then
like
they'll email
advanced
you.
shopping.
So I thought that was a really dope idea,
Yeah,
but the
really
girl was
smart.
super unorganized. And I remember at one point they asked her like, what kind of purchase order did they give you for that? And she's like, what's a purchase order? And I'm like, oh, honey, like this isn't going to go well.
That's the smell of money disappearing, burning up into the ether.
Oh my god.
And the one we heard today was the app where they get cars to bring you to a store. So I'm not explaining this right. If you guarantee that you're going to purchase something from the store pays for a car to come pick you up.
How smart is
So
that?
yeah, like
I love that.
restaurants.
What about getting
like,
home?
I think same thing. I
Amazing.
think
The idea is
The
that
round
they
trip,
work
they
with
want your business.
partners like Uber.
Yeah.
So that basically the retailer or the hair salon or whatever covers the trip there, and then you end up covering the trip home. Or it sounds like if you're buying multiple items, you can stockpile points and hitch
like
rides.
Validate your parking.
It's the company's called Validate.
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
Isn't that funny? Because I probably wouldn't have remembered that if you hadn't used the
It's called
company's
Validated,
name.
I think.
Validated, that's right.
they did not get a deal.
They did not get a deal. But what's really cool is we're currently watching a season and a half ago, and Jess Googles to see how the company's doing.
Right.
And this particular company had expanded from 2 cities to like 20 cities
you
or
see
12
instant
cities.
progress 'cause you're
So
watching
obviously
it in the
they're
past.
doing their thing. So if you're listening from the States, I think they were in San Francisco. They originated in Seattle or in Portland. And that's our favorite. That's probably our favorite product idea of the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to report other ones maybe because I'm really enjoying kind of hearing the pitches, and then we talk about if we think it's a thing and how successful it might be, and then she Googles to see kind of how successful they've been in the 2 years since being on the show.
I like it.
And that's the weird nerdy stuff that we do.
Yeah.
I really like the app ideas and things. Like there's obviously like, oh, the best tuna you've ever eaten.
Yeah,
and then there'll be like beer companies
Good
and different
tuna.
things like that, which is all great. But I really like the
We're here from Good
stuff
Tuna.
you've never heard of
And we
before.
make good tuna.
Wow.
It's gooder than your tuna.
gooder.
Gooder. That sounds like fucking some Australian shit.
So the problem with supporting Shark Tank and even talking about it is that we are unwittingly a part of an evil villain's plan to take over our country.
Yeah.
Damn.
How much do you know about Mr. Wonderful? Kevin O'Leary.
Kevin, I heard he's a bit of a prick.
He's a bit of a prick.
Okay.
I don't want to say sociopath. That's my go-to word.
The shiny head dog.
But he enjoys messing with people who he knows he could change their life. And you watch him kind of like
dangle the carrot.
Dangle the carrot.
What a prick. All right,
He's
cool.
a prick.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't matter to me so much if he wasn't also considering running for leadership of Canada.
Yes.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I don't have a TV. I don't watch regular TV. There's a lot of things I don't fucking know.
Well, let me just tell you this.
Okay, break it down.
He's a little Trumpy.
Oh,
He's a lot
So
Trumpy.
Yes, but he's
conservative now.
smarter than
Trumpy.
Trump. So it's in some of the Trump connotations are about like an imbecile in office. This is not an imbecile.
Mm-hmm.
This is somebody who is smart and enjoys being in power and dangling it in front of people who don't have it.
Okay.
And shitting on people who will never have it.
And kicking them when they're down.
Yeah.
You know, an entrepreneur who maybe has put all of their money into a business and they have nothing left and they're at the end. Him going, well, I guess you're in the poorhouse.
I've got
and it's just like,
51%, eat my
he,
ass.
He doesn't care. He kicks you when you're down for no reason. And that to me is the opposite of Canadian. And I hate talking about quote unquote Canadian because I don't buy into the nationalism. But
Canadians are rock though.
But you know, if that's not wherever you're from, Canadian, or if you're listening from the Philippines, that's not good humanity to have that type of air about you, especially when you're in a position of power and wealth and influence. And to me, we've already seen the kind of leader he'll be. We have like hundreds of episodes of what he's like when he's in power and when he's holding the microphone. And I don't like it.
Yeah.
Arlene Bynum, is that? No, it's not Arlene. She's a talk radio lady. But the girl from the Dragon's Den.
No, it was Arlene.
Is her name Arlene?
Arlene.
Am I using the right name?
Yep, that's correct.
She wrote an article saying, what you see on TV is what you get.
Like-
so if you don't like him on TV, do not vote for him because she spends time around him and she's like, that's what he's like.
Yeah.
That's all I need to hear. This is not a joke. This is not a game. The cold-blooded serial killer you see on TV is who he is, and he wants to be Prime Minister of Canada. I've never voted. If he runs, I will vote against him.
Yeah.
That's how strong I feel about it.
My issue is like, there's so many good entrepreneurs on that show, and like, he's the only one who really puts people down like that and talks like that. And it's like, you don't have to be like that to be successful. And I feel like he's teaching young people that's like, be an asshole if you want to be an entrepreneur. That's the way it is in this industry. And it's like, no, it doesn't have to be like that. You don't have to be an asshole to make money. You don't have to be an asshole to run a business. You can do it and still be a nice person. You could be fierce and you could be a monster in the business world without being a real monster.
You're
you know?
100%
For
right.
example, Gary Vee.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and Gary Vee isn't even all warm hugs and rainbows.
No, he's definitely cold when it comes to, I mean, he's just always over delivering, talking about, you know.
But he doesn't go out of his way to like shit on
that's
people,
what I'm saying.
you know?
He's very nice to people. Like,
Yeah.
I could be an asshole.
he probably could be.
I'm
behind
not all
business
hugs
doors.
and rainbows.
Yeah.
I tell the motherfucker that they whack. We're not talking about
Yeah.
kid gloves
Fluffing it up,
and
yeah.
fluffing it up. It's just not being a cold-blooded killer, kick them in the face when they're down.
Right.
And I think there's a huge gambit, like a huge divide between like even what Trudeau does, which I think is a little bit overly PC, and then Kevin O'Leary. There's like we don't need to go all the way down to that end of the spectrum. Where, you know what I mean?
Yeah, why can't we find something in the middle?
The worst possible scenario.
Yeah.
And lately I've been really smitten with this idea of Mr. Wonderful being like an evil Marvel villain.
Oh my God.
Because his name is Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah, perfect.
And he has access to advanced technology. And he's rich. And he
Iron
wants to
Man.
live forever. So for sure he would buy like an Iron Man suit or like some kind of like chemical injection that would give him superpowers. He's on the top of the list for that, for sure. Do you see what I'm...
Yeah.
Can you feel it?
Yeah.
we can't have the person have governmental power. We should be very careful.
Uprise.
We are creating, like, what's a Marvel villain? I can't think of them. Like, Iceman, Joker
What's
face.
the Green Goblin?
We are creating a motherfucking Green Goblin.
Because green money.
Oh,
Green Goblin. And he's kind of goblin looking.
He's a little bit chubby, not to like fat shame. Well, he's a little chubby for goblin. More troll.
Oh, more troll. Yeah,
Troll
that's true.
under the bridge.
So here's a
Green
question.
troll.
Are trolls fatter than goblins? Is that like a general rule?
I would say so, yeah, because trolls usually have like the big under lip. I know this from doing special effects makeup in school. Trolls usually have the underbite with the big teeth and stuff, and goblins are usually more like little like.
Can you do that again?
Like little skinny, scrawny ones. Yeah, I think trolls are definitely stereotypically larger.
Now, is troll obesity related to the genealogy of trolls, or is that a lifestyle thing?
Like when they live under the bridge, do they?
Are they simply not leaving the under the bridge area?
Yeah, and I mean, if you never get any cardio,
they're obviously not watching their weight. They're going to be eating whatever they can get.
If you never let themselves get any cardio, 100 points. Wow.
I guess that's that's accurate.
So opposite of Kevin O'Leary, did you want to talk about The Rock today? Did you have
I do. But I want to make one
knowledge?
point before we go to that, and it's that I believe that the only thing fatter than trolls is ogres, and I think those are probably the fattest of all the.
Yeah.
Right.
So on some Shrek business.
It goes. What was the first one?
Goblins.
Trolls, ogres. Okay, just making sure in order of.
I don't know
fatness.
enough about the ogre population to comment on that, so I'm gonna leave that one.
I thought you said overpopulation, but you said ogre population. Yeah. Okay, but yeah. So I would love to talk.
Overpopulation of ogres.
Let's talk about The Rock.
Yeah.
Dwayne.
First of all, just while I sip my drink, Notion, what are your thoughts when I say Dwayne The Rock Johnson? What's the word association? What does that bring to mind? Does it make you hard? What do you think?
Definitely rock solid. No, I'd say motivated.
No pun intended.
Motivating. Because I follow him on Instagram and he just,
everybody
drops
follows
a little,
him on Instagram.
Yeah, well, I don't follow many people on that. So, like, as far as celebrities anyway. So, yeah, he's very motivating. Seems very positive. He's got his head on straight. It's massive.
What do you know about The Rock running for president?
Very little. But I heard it in the grapevine, on the Twitters.
So I Googled it today just to see.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, just to get more knowledge on it, to see what kind of input I could say. And to be honest, nothing much came up about it recently. Because I think he has a big movie coming out right now, so obviously
he's on other shit right now. Yeah.
It's more focused on that. So this is 100% happening? Is it they've announced?
No, nothing's 100%.
Okay.
So where we are in the timeline of announcements for presidency is we're kind of in the speculative period before most of them announce it. I'm sure there are some politicians who are already making it known, but we're kind of in that window where no one knows if Trump will run again. I don't think he will. Based on what he said, it sounds like he's not going to. I think most people feel he won't, but it's still in that moment we don't know. You know what I mean? So we don't really know who the nominees will be. But The Rock has joked about it several times in the past few years with increasing realism, like realisticness, and with increasing regularity. So it started off with like one joke, and now there's been like 3 or 4 jokes about it. But they're like, here's the thing: there's no punchline to the joke. The joke is just The Rock 2020. And then that turned into Johnson 2020. And that became Johnson Hanks 2020 with Tom Hanks running as vice president.
I'm gonna search Johnson.
And so they came out on stage at Saturday Night Live, hand in hand, up in the air like a W.
Yeah, okay.
And a banner dropped behind them, and it said Johnson Hanks 2020. Balloons fall, red, white, and blue. And what people called was the announcement for presidency. Now the problem is when it happens on Saturday Night Live,
it's all satire.
It could be a joke.
Yeah.
Could be. Here's the thing. He could also win. So if something's a joke,
especially after having that dickhead in office, mate. Like
course.
anybody, whoever comes,
And what we said before is that I think that it was a joke, but it was kind of like, I'm doing the bunny ears for anyone who's just listening.
Quotes
it was
for anybody who doesn't speak bunny ears.
bunny ears. It was a joke, but it's almost to kind of test people's reactions. It's just like, if everyone's like, oh man, I love it, like I would so vote for you, then he's probably going to strongly consider it.
No, keep going. Yeah.
I just pulled up an article from December, so not that long ago, saying he's seriously considering running for president. And Kevin Hart says, Kevin Hart, his Jumanji co-star, has his full support, blah, 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 all that stuff. So
That's serious.
So at least that's a more recent article. Because was that almost a year ago, the SNL thing?
It might have been, yeah. It was quite a while ago.
Yeah. And we haven't heard much about it since. But I'm looking forward to hearing more about it.
Whether he runs or not, The Rock is, I think, like the third most followed person on Instagram. He's like he is the third most followed actor on all social medias together. Kevin Hart being number one. I don't know who number two is. I only know it's 1 and 3 because Kevin Hart's trash talking The Rock on Instagram right now about it. But he's one of the most influential humans on the planet, and he doesn't have a negative bone in his body.
Yeah.
And those two facts alone make him the strongest contender, candidate, combination of those words, for presidency outside of whoever the two parties have already kind of nominated. Because, in the parties, they're always grooming somebody to be the next president or president down the road. Other than kind of those people, because I don't buy into that system. And for people who are still mad at me saying I don't vote, that's why I don't vote, because I don't buy into that system. But The Rock is super intelligent, very eloquent, super positive. He gets up at 4 a.m. every day and works out, and then goes and becomes a billionaire, and then is the most influential person in the world after he's done working out every day. I'm still waiting for someone to explain to me how he's not the best candidate for president.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that once he officially announces that he is running, you'll have a lot of that. There'll be a lot of people being like...
Well, people have tried. Al from the SiriusXM show, she gave me an earful. I don't buy it.
Of why he'd be bad?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
It's that he's doesn't have the experience of running government. He doesn't know anything about city infrastructure and budgeting.
We don't want to get into a place where we're just voting him in because the last one was so bad that it's like, anybody good, please. You know what I mean?
Like last one?
Yeah.
Because it's not just the last one. We have 8 years of Bush to talk about. Obama was good, but problematic. Because I'm pro-Obama. Let's just be clear. For anyone who doesn't know me, I'm pro-Obama. But it's problematic. It was not a perfect presidency. Yeah. And there's a lot of issues.
It's a job that you can never really be perfect at.
No, but all I'm saying is when we say, you can't just do it because of Trump, most of my adult life, there's been some pretty questionable things happening in the White House. You know what I mean? From Obama passing laws at on New Year's Eve so that no one notices he's doing it, to like really questionable things. So when someone like The Rock comes in, I think The Rock would feel weird about that.
Yeah.
Right.
He's genuine, and maybe I'm reading into it, and maybe I'm a fucking naive 12-year-old boy. But to me, I think of The Rock. Let's say Tom Hanks and Dwayne The Rock Johnson are running the White House. I think they sit in that room and they go, so wait, you want us to pass a law while everyone is partying? That doesn't sound right. I feel like they would feel weird about it.
Yeah.
Because what politicians...
You didn't explain that why you said that.
Thank you for saying so.
Yeah.
You can Google it. Please do. Anytime I make a wild claim, generally speaking, I've tried to read these things. But there is a law. It was that Obama passed while he was in office, of course. New Year's Eve at midnight, he signed the bill, and it was one of those military acts, and they added into it secretly some other stuff. So it was an act about feeding the military, making sure they have enough food. And then they added some stuff that kind of the American people didn't agree with, and they passed it at midnight on New Year's Eve. And it's just very
cheeky, bro.
That's like something Dr. Evil would do. That's and I love Barack Obama.
I'd be interested to look at the history and see if passing stuff on New Year's Eve is like a common practice.
But even if it is, that's
I'm not saying it's
strange.
Okay. No. I'm just saying that
I don't think Obama's the worst. I think he's probably the best we've had in terms of honesty and
role model.
Overall,
yeah. Because I think the job is to lie. I think that's the nature of the job. I think he's probably on the quote unquote best side. And I think all of them have had to kill. There are people right now like shitting in their diapers mad at us because Obama killed all the people with the drones. And I know that. And I'm not minimizing that. But I think when you look at Bush and Trump, it's clearly worse. And Clinton might be somewhere in the middle. I don't know. I'm not savvy enough to know.
Yeah.
But those are the presidents of my adulthood.
Yeah,
and I don't think there's anything there to protect in terms of quality. If the best is doing weird New Year's Eve shit, if that's right, and by the way, if I'm wrong, please let me know because I believe that to be true.
Yeah.
To me, that's not like, hey, let's protect this quality we've got. No, this is bullshit. We could do much better than this. And I'm happy with trying The Rock. I think The Rock wouldn't want to be caught in any crazy lie that would call into question him becoming the most influential human in the world. I think his brand would mean so much to him, more to him than some Illinois senator,
Right.
in my opinion.
It's got more to lose, more to
Some of these
embarrass.
Illinois senators or senator from Kentucky who wants to run for president, whatever state, I'm not shitting on any individual. I'm just kind of making this person up.
Yeah.
I think they just lie and make shit up because no one knows who they are anyways. You know what I mean?
But he's
They
got
can
a
just kinda,
lot
like,
more to
disappear.
lose.
He's got a lot to
Yeah.
lose.
And he
can
really
fall
wants
back
he wants to maintain that positive role model image, so he'll be a positive role model.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? Like when he's in.
I think
if
he's
he
got
was in the office.
40 years left of whatever he wants
That's
to do.
also
Yeah.
might be a reason why he won't fucking go for it because that.
Yeah, maybe that's true.
The stakes
right.
are so
That's
fucking
true.
high.
He might not.
You are so right. And I think if he doesn't, that's why. Because
Yeah.
I think he wants to. I think he
He's
realizes
got a good heart,
he
obviously.
could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's probably having a very real conversation with his wife. I believe he's married. He's probably having a very real conversation with his team.
Yeah.
Because there's no turning back. What Trump did is so negative, but let's remove that he's clearly the worst ever at it. But think about how big it is. Like how big he was before versus now. He just got like one of those Mario mushrooms, and he is 1,000 times more famous.
And then your
than he was
family has to
before.
always have security with them
Always.
and like all these things.
Your
It's a
life-
big-
you're a
it's a
target
big
now,
deal.
like-
Your life
Yeah.
never goes back to
Yeah.
the same. So here's basically what we're saying is this. Please, Mr. Johnson. I know you're considering it and you don't know if it's the best for you. He's got like 6 kids. And I know the kids mean the world
He's
to
got
him.
a squad.
He's probably talking to each one of them. How do you want to be the most famous kid, 6 children people in the country? Like, that's a cool question in its own.
Yeah.
Hey, Alyssa, who's my 4th daughter, do you want to be in the top 6 most famous children in the country?
For the next couple of years.
You know what I
bro?
mean? That's
Yeah.
a big question. I
They
think,
probably won't even be able to comprehend that, bro. That's like.
well, it depends how old they are. Because The Rock's got a little gray
Even
stuff.
Does
if
he
you-
have
even if
kids?
you-
You know
Yeah,
that
he's
for
got like
sure?
5 or 6 of them. He's got a bunch.
Wow.
And one of them's old teenager. Because she looks so much like him, it looks like a face swap. It's
What?
really
Damn,
crazy.
I want to look it up.
Yeah, one of them is a teenager, and she looks so much like him. It's crazy. I think like I could never hook up with a girl who has Dwayne the Rock Johnson's
Yeah,
face.
nah, it'd be too scary, mate. Way too scary.
But all the power to her. Is it a him, for example? Am I messing up some
Oh,
details?
I don't know. She's gorgeous if this is her.
It might be. But does she look just like Dwayne the Rock Johnson? See, if we do this, now we need to show the people on the video what it looks like. So, Jess, you have to put her picture up on the screen.
Get a decent screenshot.
Oh no, I'm not doing that. Forget we're doing this because I'm not doing all that work.
Okay, so
Yeah, but anyways, he's beautiful children.
people in Canada do not vote for Mr. Wonderful. People in America, I highly recommend you consider what it means to be president. They all have teams full of advisors that help them. America's not falling apart with even someone as dumb as Trump being in office. So I think saying, well, you need somebody who's amazing at like country infrastructure, I think that I say BS. I say have a director of country infrastructure beside you and be the most trustworthy human we could find on the planet, and that just might be The Rock.
Yeah.
That's my argument.
Bam.
Drops the mic.
Light us down.
That's what I have to say on the subject.
Love it.
Johnson, Hanks, 2020. I can't vote.
Neither can I.
So if you can and you don't care, vote for me.
Do it.
Vote, and don't vote for me. Vote on
Vote
behalf
on
of me
behalf of, yes.
for them. And when I was touring the U.S. when what's his name? What's the old mad scientist dude's name?
Bernie.
Bernie Sanders.
Oh, the
when he was
man.
running, every show I ended my set.
Vote for Bernie.
Vote for Bernie. I can't vote.
Perfect. Vote
You
for
can
Bernie for me.
Vote for Bernie. He's gonna save your life. Don't say I didn't
Love
tell
it.
you.
Yep.
So now I can't go back and say that because then I'll just get murdered. But I did my best. I did what I could. And if I go back on the road, I'll do it again. But this time for The Rock.
Do it.
You got me. You got my advocacy, sir.
There you go. He's going to appreciate that.
I love it. Okay, so Mr. Wonderful and The Rock down. I feel good that we discussed it.
Are you ready to talk to me about the thing that you haven't
Listen.
told me in forever?
It's finally time.
Okay, so basically, let me
You
give a
set it.
little.
I've been talking.
a
Let me
little,
sit back. You set it up.
Preface? Preface? Is that the word?
I like how you said that.
Is that actually you pronounce it?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Preface. Give us a preface.
It's definitely not preface, I don't think.
preface.
But okay, so basically, since we've been discussing starting a podcast, there's certain topics that we'll start talking about, and Anthony will be like, "Oh no, let's save it for the podcast or whatever." And then most of them we'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll save certain elements for the podcast. But some he won't talk to me about it at all.
Cuts you off, eh?
He just is like,
no, shut up.
I have
It's
something.
content, 'cause
Yeah,
it's
I have
gold.
something to tell you, and I'm not going to tell you
It's
until
Bruno
the podcast.
Mars 24 karat diamond gold. It's gold.
Oh,
Right.
the topic is.
Yes.
I thought you meant that was what you had to say.
No.
I was like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
The new trend in porn is Bruno Mars.
So
24
I didn't
karat.
even say the topic yet.
Oh,
You
sorry.
just released
Go.
the topic.
Go.
So it's basically, he's like, have you heard of this new trend in porn? And then he's like, I'm not going to tell you. So I have no idea what the new trend in porn is. I did look up some stuff in preparation for what his could possibly be.
Oh, can you guess first? First of all, the only
no,
other
I
the
want
only-
you to tell me
The only
first.
other hint I gave is that it makes me sad.
Yeah. So we've talked about how
Damn,
mom
son.
stuff and
you-
sibling stuff is very popular in porn. Pornhub releases their top searched results every year. Often, very often, mom and sister and all that stuff are very high up on the list of
That's
the.
hot.
Sorry. Did you say that's hot?
That's hot.
Do you find that hot?
No, it was just additional commentary. Sorry.
Okay.
But we are gonna get into that in a second. So, anyways, I would like to know what this trend that's gonna make me sad is.
Okay. So first of all, let me set the scene.
Okay, I'm ready.
I watch a little bit of porn.
Well-
I'm a fan of porn. I think we should. And the reason I
It's
say
just
that
normal.
is I'd like to talk about it over time because Jess and I talk about it a lot. I know a lot of husbands and boyfriends, and in my case, fiancés, like lie about watching porn and kind of create
Why?
and they create like a buffer. I just kind of tell Jess, I'm like, hey, I watched porn while you were at work today, and guess what I saw?
Yeah.
You know what I
Why
mean? And so I talk to her about it a lot. I talk to her about what I think it means sexually for the population of people who are watching it, especially as I see if I'm watching porn 3 to 5 days a week. And by the way, if that's too much and you're a doctor, let me know. It seems like the right amount, but
It's healthy.
over the course of several years, by accident, you start to become like a connoisseur, and you.
I bet you there's some people who watch it way more than that who are like,
dude.
"Pfft,
Well,
you
like
think you're a
3 times a
connoisseur."
day,
so
mate.
even more than me, those people have you had a real sense of the cross section of what people must like sexually,
Right.
for this porn
and
to
what
exist.
that says socially,
And what that says socially. And as Jess already referenced, one of my favorite things every year is the list of the most searched porn terms.
Amazing.
Bruh, it is.
Who does that? Is it
so
like
Pornhub.
Brazzers or Pornhub?
Yeah, no,
Pornhub.
Pornhub releases it. Yeah,
Pornhub.
Perfect.
The masters of porn.
Love it.
market-
Yeah, well,
masters of
fuck.
porn marketing.
Yeah.
And they do it by state and by country, I think, something like that. But universally, people watch sibling and parent porn.
That's
It's
a worldwide thing?
Yeah, it's
Jesus.
mostly America. America, it's the highest. America, it's most consistently the highest in the chart. It's usually 1 or 2. And to be fair, it's always step sibling or step parent. I don't think America's into incest.
no, but I think it's only. I think
But
the
it's
only
the
reason-
closest thing.
Yeah, it's the closest, and mom is on stepmom's on the list, but then
And
mom
mom.
isn't far down.
Yeah, mom's on the list as well. And the other thing that's on the list in America, for example, is like having sex with like an Arabic women or like Muslim women. So it's also quite telling since they're at war with those nations. So it's just very telling that it's like you're a
That's
sibling
disrespectful,
or the
yeah.
people we're at war with. There's nothing positive there.
Wow.
And so I'm judging hard.
Both
Let's just
extremes.
say that. So if you watch either of those things, I'm judging you
So,
a
but
little
none
bit.
of this is the thing I haven't heard yet.
No,
right?
I know. No, I'm just giving context.
Yeah, you're building it up.
And while we're on that subject, if you're into one of those things, I would love to know why.
Yeah.
Like even like you don't have to even tell me much. Just give me like a sense of like what's sexy about
Mom porn.
Mom porn. And I know it's the quote unquote off
I think
limits.
it's just taboo, bro. Like,
But
You don't-
taboo is
you
just
don't
a
do
word.
that.
What does that mean?
Off-
Like,
like-
why that taboo? Because there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that are taboo. You could like spit in a girl's face and that's taboo. But it's very different than having sex with a family member. And I think that's interesting. Like, I'd love to know from somebody why.
Yeah,
they
because
find
to
that
me,
attractive.
that's on my no list. Like, will dry up my vagina as soon as I see that list. Like, as soon as my dad enters my mind, you know what I mean? Like, no. Like, so to me, how does it go from dry up your vagina to that's the thing that gets you off? You know what I mean? Like, that's a big space in between that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the top one, which is family, and number two, which is a foreign person, of which most Americans would identify as being the quote unquote enemy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Is there's a general through line of negativity. It's like I like the idea of kinks. I got many. We'll talk about them over the course of the podcast. Like there's things I think are sexy for no reason, and I don't know why. You just get into them. But none of them are hateful. Like I don't have any hateful kinks.
Yeah.
And
You're sensible.
And it wouldn't bother me that some people have that, because I know that some people have been abused and that you've been through stuff, but it's super weird to me that it's the most searched stuff is negative.
Yeah.
It's like most people get off on some shit that is sad. And that's just like, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know most people got off on something that makes you
Doesn't
sad. Makes
seem
me
like
sad.
that.
I
Me, mate.
think
Yeah.
that maybe it's making the best of a shitty situation. So it's your brain's defense mechanism. So women loving like rape fantasies, for example, it's just like, well, this kind of exists in our life anyways.
Yeah,
so I might as well think it's hot and get off on it in this way so that it's not completely terrible. You know what I mean?
So you're right, and I agree. But it's the most searched. So does that mean every girl feels that way? And that every guy feels that way? Because I didn't know that. That's more, you know what I mean? It's the number. Because the mechanism, I agree. And that actually is a really good way to look at it. But it's still that still means that it's the most. Like there's more of that than this like the thing that I think is hot in porn the most is when the girl is like into it.
Yes.
Because she's just like hanging from the rafters. I want all of the dick in the world.
Yes.
Because that's fun. It's
Rafters
fun.
porn. I didn't know you could
It's
search
fun that she wants all of the dick.
Yeah. All the hands, everything.
It's not fun when they don't want any of the dick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's just nothing fun in that.
Yeah.
So was the thing that you
No, I'm gonna get into
Oh, you're
it.
still not getting
No, I
into
still not getting into it.
I just thought it was the overall
So
that
it's
it's like
a porn.
No,
unpleasant.
and
Okay.
part of the reason is that I haven't got into it is because the trend that I've discovered isn't really like the one we're talking about.
Okay.
But I thought that's worth talking about because I think that's interesting. And if you've never checked it, I'll bring it up in conversation, and someone's like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "I wish I wasn't."
Wow.
But I check it every year. Like I've been checking every year for like 5 years because it's so interesting. Way before I had a podcast, I was just like, "Oh no, people are super damaged goods."
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Okay, so much shorter. Setting up the context for what the second one is.
Okay.
I promise, much shorter.
Okay. I'm dying.
No, much shorter. Is violent porn. There's a lot of violent porn, rapey porn, like throat fucking till you're gagging and like slobbering and filling bowls porn, like the worst, right?
Yeah.
So this is more in that vein. So the porn,
Filling bowls.
no, it's you. Notion knows.
I know, bro. Yeah.
Because even if you're not into it, unfortunately,
Yeah, you
while
see
you're
it.
participating in
Come
this
across it, man.
positive porn, at least as
Yeah.
positive as it can be, because I know it's not perfect. And my feminist friends, don't be too mad at me, because I really do my best to try to engage in positive participatory porn. Okay. So, anyways, in that vein, what I've been noticing, and here's the thing: I've literally never seen this except for 1 or 2 times in like. I'm 35, so I've been jerking off for 20 some odd years. And in all that time, I've seen this once or twice. So that's not a trend.
Okay.
And out of nowhere, I've seen it like 8 times in 2018.
Damn.
Trending, like, but if this was like an investment, I'd invest because it's
Shit,
on the
bro.
ups.
Okay.
And it's farting.
Okay.
So it's because
Like
anal sex was the move for
sucking
20.
farts,
So
bro?
2016 and 2017 were the years of anal sex.
Yeah.
Because it'd been around for a long time, but porn basically became that there's no sex without anal sex.
Yeah, tush.
And anal's not my thing. I
Did you
don't
just say tush?
I don't judge people who do it.
Tush.
Right? Are you Notion? Are you into anal sex, Notion?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
saying. Drop it in.
It's really popular. I have a lot of friends who are into it. It's not my thing. I'm just kind of like I'm not a full germaphobe, but it's just enough
Couple
of,
times, you know,
it's over
dabble.
my germaphobe line, so that's it for me. It's just kind of weird, but I noticed anal sex became the thing.
Yeah.
Like in porn.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
at this point that's common knowledge. So now it's the porn titles would say something like full anal, gaping, farting. And so farting's been added to the
So
list
it's like-
of activities.
It's the next level of.
Because I think that
I'm
the
gonna
way
fuck you in your
if
bum
some
until you fart.
Yes.
Is the new.
Because there's some people like you who are very germaphobe and really like the cleanliness of that. But if it's this is super
No, go.
detailed, but like
Go.
a clean anal where it's almost like the same thing as pussy fucking. It's everyone's fine with it. You know what I mean? That's why they inserted it into a lot of porn because like maybe you like anal too. Here you go. Here's some anal.
Well, everyone does. It
But
seems.
that is going a different route where it's just like, do you like the dirtiness of anal?
Yeah.
Here's more of that
But I think
dirtiness.
it's
You know,
mostly-
like
Here's some mud, mate. The dirt
Here's-
track all the
here's
way
some
down.
mud.
You know,
I
you know what you
think-
should, mate.
I think most people who like anal, I've never heard them say it in the clean way. I've never seen that.
Right.
And maybe your friends
Well,
do.
okay,
maybe it's a
that's
female
me.
thing.
Maybe that's just me.
Because my guy friends who talk about it, and granted, the guy friends who talk about it openly are the most debaucherous.
Filthy, like, right into the
But
mic.
yeah, they, as Notion just said, are the filthiest.
I know your mates, mate.
Yeah, you know, they're the filthiest.
They're the good blokes.
But and I haven't, and to be honest, because with anal, for example, now there's no avoiding it, so you participate in it in the porn watching. I've dodged the farting because there's not too much of it that I
Bro,
can
as
still
if-
dodge it.
of course you would.
But it's enough that I'm like, I'm seeing that again. And so obviously somewhere there's a production team, and
It's like-
they've got a wall similar to ours,
Huzzah.
and on their wall somewhere is written farting, like the new thing.
Yeah.
Because it's not just random.
Have you guys heard of cake farts?
No, please fill us in. I'll sit back. I want to know more
So,
about
so cake farts. There's actually a lot of different variations of cake farts, but I think cake fart is the most popular. It is where a woman usually sits on a cake and farts, and so the icing kind of like flies everywhere.
Wow.
And it just emphasizes the farting. There's also like water farts, so there like bubbles into water and stuff. It's just basically so you can see the fart.
I didn't know this.
Man, I thought seeing a ping
Yeah.
pong show in Thailand was lit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so cake fart is like a huge thing.
My mind just got blown.
Hashtag cake fart.
I
Oh,
didn't know you
mate.
could fart into things.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
when's your birthday again, mate? I'll get you a.
Yeah, watch your mouth. You better not fuck with my birthday cake like that. That's my one
Buddy,
time
you
a
ain't
year I
gonna
can
be
have
eating
cake.
it. I wouldn't let you eat it. It's just for the lols.
Just for the lulz.
So that's amazing. So how do people participate in cake farting? Is it like a webcam thing where they watch it, or are they subscribing
Well, no,
to cake farts?
there's porn of cake farting and stuff like that.
never
Like,
seen it.
I'm not a
You've
cake
already
fart.
explained that I watch.
I'm not a cake fart
3 to 5 times a
connoisseur.
week.
I don't know that much about it. I just know it is a thing that people are into.
Your homework for next episode.
The
To find out more about
the
cake
videos must be
farting.
short because if they're just dropping some bombs and then what are you gonna do?
How do
Jerk
they
off with the icing afterwards? Like, what do you do
control?
after? Like, they're gonna be short videos.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, I think it's just the girl by
it
themselves
Instagram
farting on the
clips?
cake.
Are they Vines?
No, this is on like Pornhub and
Are
stuff.
you sure there's no cake farting on Vine?
Vine doesn't exist
Vine's still
anymore.
around? I
It
was gonna
still
say,
exists.
what?
No, it doesn't.
Did they completely shut the doors? You cannot download
Vine
Vine.
is
Didn't
gone.
they sell?
You
they
You
sold
can
it, eh?
download old Vines. Yeah.
No, I'm going to the Play Store right now. You could first of all,
You know, I don't think you can make new Vines anymore.
no. They just who closes up shop like that?
Bro, maybe they sold. Maybe they just
On my old Note
Backed up
3, I'm
shop
looking it
like
up right
these.
now.
Yeah, no, it's dead.
Is it dead? You look it up?
Yeah, it's dead.
What does it say?
why Vine died.
Why Vine died. The
Yeah,
Verge.
died as in nobody uses it anymore, but did they actually close the
Vine
doors?
app will shut down and become Vine Camera. Okay, so that's
so they
Vine
downgraded.
camera. Yeah, they did. They downgraded the Vine camera for
the
making
5 sad reasons why Vine is being shut down. So,
they-
it's
so
it
what happened
changed
is
at least.
they killed the social media and they kept it as a camera, so you can create vines and upload them to other social media.
Ooh, not
That's
bad.
smart
That's the
because
smartest thing you could've
basically
done.
they
got
gave
crushed.
They gave up on the dream.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
The dream is dead.
The dream is dead. That's so interesting because I remember when Vine came out, and I remember thinking, "Oh, dope!" And this is back when Instagram had 6-second videos.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, it was way less.
It was
Then they
way
upped to
shorter. And then I remember
15.
that's how Facebook is such a gangster.
It is.
Because in one move they go, "Oh wait, how much
Boom.
money did Vine spend launching their whole service and setting up and marketing and buying billboards in
Oh,
San
we'll just buy it
Francisco?"
for fucking-
Wait until they spend all their advertising money and then just make our videos longer.
Yeah.
Because then they just like, no, I remember as soon as Instagram made their video 60 seconds, the world just like deleted Vine on the same day. And it's just like,
I did the post the same thing. I'm like,
it's
peace.
the
So
most
Instagram's
gangster.
they're 60 seconds. Oh, sorry, the ones you
The
post to your
videos,
Instagram
but the
page.
stories are 15.
But the stories are
Yes.
still just okay.
But
right, yeah,
once upon a time with Vine,
Did you want to refill your drink? Is that why you were looking at your empty cup?
Bit of Crown, if you would, mate. Whenever you're ready, no stress.
Oh,
I mean,
Jess,
unless you want me
Jess,
to
can you
leave.
check our budget to see if there's budget to give no
I
shit?
can also bring the beer that I
Go get the beer because actually I'm happy to give you. I was totally joking about the budget, but we specifically bought a craft beer just to discuss
did, the
discuss it.
collective- okay.
So let's do that.
So
and Jess,
down.
could you grab 2 additional plastic cups so that we can do a beer and other shit tasting.
10-second beer review.
I want to do a 10-second beer review. Do you think you could get it posted on the BAOS podcast?
I can do it.
Could you arrange for that?
I'll do it. I might hopefully get it first take.
Well, if you don't, even worst case, we give you that one.
Fuck, that'll be even better.
You know what I mean?
HD.
It's like a
I'll do
collabo.
both.
See, this is what's happening. Jess walks out of the room, and the minute she leaves, I'm already doing network deals.
Let's go.
Podcast
Business.
partnerships. I'm trying to set up wins.
There you go.
This is it, man. This podcast is going to be the.
This is fun, man.
This is going to be the big thing, man. Obviously, I'm never going to stop making music.
Yep.
That's what I do. The lyric video business is going really, really great. I'm super happy with where it's at.
Yeah.
But we're looking for something else in terms of to take it just outside of music. We want to be able to share our ideas. I want to be able to root for presidential candidates and have a platform to do that on. And I'm hyped that you're here on day one.
Love it. I appreciate you guys having me.
So can you pretend that you bought this beer? And just for a second, can you take us through? Tell us what it is. Maybe you pour us up a couple of glasses.
I will.
And we're gonna do. So for the listeners, this is what you do on your team's podcast, BAOS, beer and other shit. Beer reviews. We're gonna do one here today. I'm a wuss. I'm not gonna do good at it at all. I'm probably gonna hate it, and make a face, but Jess is gonna.
We don't have
like
to give I'm not gonna. I don't know many
No,
beer words. Okay.
He's gonna do it.
You guys legit picked a good one to start off. You're not going to hate it for sure.
Oh, okay, so you know this one already.
You're in
Oh,
control.
yeah.
You're in
I
control.
had this one 2 days ago, actually, truth be told. So, it's from Collective Arts. They're in Hamilton. It's called Rhyme and Reason Extra Pale Ale. So, don't we just jump into the... All right, cool. All right, Joel, 10-second beer review. Drinking a Collective Arts Rhyme and Reason Extra Pale Ale. It's 5.7%. It's brewed with Citrus, Centennial, Chinook, and Simcoe hops. It's fruity. It's a little bitter. It's fantastic. Get it in ya! Oh,
Give me a little cheers. No, it's all good.
Get it in ya. Yeah, and that's a gem.
See, I know you're gonna hate
very
that.
fruity.
Yeah.
But you get
I hate that.
You get
Sorry,
a tiny spike of bitter, and then it
I
rounds
hate
off
that
nice.
so much.
You hate that.
Here's
so
my
much.
review.
So now we can't tag them because Anthony hates it, which will happen with every.
No, that's
Hey,
okay.
no, you have-
Tag them. Do you think it's dope?
It's fantastic.
Jess, what do you think?
I think it's delicious.
Yeah.
So
I already gave a precursor that I don't drink anything good.
I know you
Yes.
don't drink. I mean, you don't really drink beer much.
No.
You used to drink Stella every now and again.
No, I still drink Stella.
I mean,
whiskey's just become really.
It's been so long since I've seen you with a Stella in your hand, fam. But whenever I'm here, you got that.
You got to come with me to Europe because when we bar hopping, it's way more beer. Because you know how whiskey drinks are way more expensive when you're just rolling into random bars. You could be paying $12 or $14 versus like $3 for a beer, right? So,
Yeah.
when I'm on the road, I drink a lot more beer. When I'm here at home, as Jessica knows, and as you know, and as the viewers and listeners will find out, I'd be drinking a lot more whiskey and Cokes.
Yep.
For people who are real whiskey drinkers, let's just own right up in advance. I like to be self-aware so that nobody... I do the 8 Mile thing. I like to mention my own shortcomings before you do, so you can't say shit about me.
Word.
You know the 8 Mile
Yeah.
policy. It's the best policy I've ever came out with.
Yeah.
And so one of my things is that I drink my whiskey with a lot of Coke. I drink
noticed
scotch
that.
with Coke.
Well, I'm glad you got Coca-Cola.
People
rather
buy
than
me
Pepsi
expensive
still.
scotches, and I drink it with Coke.
And they're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, I could get like a
pretty
scotch
much.
from
That's
like
fine.
a mummy's tomb, and I would mix it.
Ew.
And I would mix it with Pepsi for
Fucking
sure.
hell, no.
And I
Coke,
don't
mate.
care Coke or Pepsi. I don't give a fuck.
You don't give a fuck. Okay,
I don't
some
care what
people are
kind of-
like
You're not
fucking,
even loyal.
Crips and
No,
Bloods
I
with
don't
that
give no
shit, bro.
fucks. No, I got a side cola.
Oh,
I got 2 side colas, no main cola.
Oh,
Can we talk
go.
about porn some more? I still want to talk about
I mean,
porn.
sure. Fuck if we.
So one thing I found in my research of
Research.
the top
When she was doing
Yeah.
the do,
Doing the.
double clicking the mouse.
There you go.
in the top genres it was organized by men and women. So can you relax for a second now? I'm a woman and I watch porn. Relax.
I got excited
Damn.
about it. I'm sweating a little bit. I've never seen you watch porn. You don't let me watch you watch porn. I don't get to see that.
So one thing that I found interesting was that they gave kind of an overall what's most popular, and cheerleader was up there.
Yes.
And then when I went to the women's versus men's, cheerleader is way higher for women to search it than it is for men.
Damn.
You
Isn't
know what?
that kind of weird?
Lesbians be cliche in their fantasies.
Do you think that's what it is?
Basic fantasies.
I don't think you have any data to support
No, I
that.
have no data at all. But here, I'm making it up as I go along. But
Yeah.
think about this for a second. Lesbians are newer to the chasing pussy game. And so they are
True, that's true.
fantasizing about the things we fantasized about 15
Decades
years
ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now that could be, there
That's
could
it,
be
yeah, that
something
kinda
to
has
that
some
for sure.
truth to it. Okay.
It also could be that women are less, like likely or less stereotypically porn watchers. So they just go off of what they've.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we're not.
No,
we're
that's
not.
true.
But
Yeah, yeah.
less,
They lie a lot more than we
stereotypically for
do.
sure. They just lie. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're.
Do lesbians lie about watching porn? I've noticed lesbians never lied to me about watching porn.
So just so you know, the ultimate thing that's the first thing that's searched by women is lesbian. The second one is lesbian scissoring.
That's hot.
And the third one is threesome. So guess what the
that's
fourth?
so much more direct and clear.
What about tribbing? Is that there?
Women are checking. Okay, listen. Makes me so much happier. Women need to take over control because men are watching hateful, problematic things,
Ridiculous.
and women are watching women fucking women,
Sexy,
which makes
soft shit.
soup way more sense.
Yeah.
Guess what the fourth one is, babe?
What?
What do you think?
Oh.
What do I like?
No.
Yeah, number 4 for women.
Well, you're gonna go
So
full.
that's what do you
are we
mean?
gonna go-
No,
are we
is
gonna
that
go-
surprising?
Yeah, at number 4, yeah, it is. Although for women, no,
It's
because what
definitely
you've
top 10
told me
though.
about it,
Yes.
is she means anime porn.
Yeah. I know.
Yes.
Women are really into it. Can you say why? Because you've talked to me a bunch.
Yeah, so
Jessica
basically-
loves anime porn.
So it's
I
not
saw it on
even
the
just that
screen,
I
so I
love
know.
it. It's essentially
loves it.
all that I watch. I don't really watch other porn.
Damn.
And I found our friend, I won't say her name or whatever, just in case she cares. I don't think she gives a fuck. But I found a female friend of ours recently who was like, oh my gosh, I love it as well. And I also have this group of friends. We all share videos like on a Facebook page or whatever.
Damn.
And she's like, you should join it. I haven't joined it yet, but I'm definitely going to because
As
that's
soon as we
hilarious.
finish this podcast, go for it.
Anime porn.
Yeah, and it's just like there's no victim in anime porn. There's no limits in anime porn because rape isn't even rape because it's like, you know what I mean?
there's no
Like
victim,
not that
yeah.
I only watch rape anime porn, you know what I mean? I'm just saying that like, there's no victims. there's no rules. You could be floating in the air, you could be on a trapeze.
You'd be like a
you could
mechanical
be-
octopus with like
Yeah,
17
and see,
fucking
that's what I don't
rings.
like about hentai though is that everybody's
I've seen some fucked up
misconception.
ones.
Yeah, everybody's misconception when you say you watch hentai is that
yeah.
you're watching like octopuses fuck
Okay.
people,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's not the case.
But Jessica,
Classic joke.
I want you to be real with our loyal listeners.
yeah.
You do fucks with some tentacle porn.
I do. No, not tentacle. I'm not
You've
super
never
I have watched tentacle
orgasmed
porn.
to tentacle porn.
No, I don't think so. I
Like-
think I've seen it in passing. I don't think I've ever chosen it as my like
like you
go
watch it
video.
after you have your nut.
You know what I mean?
Whoa,
Just
I
keep
didn't know
watching
that. I've
porn.
been making fun of you in our relationship.
I know, because
Pre-podcast
you don't listen
for
to me.
tentacle porn. I
You
don't
don't
listen. I'm a
listen to
bad
me.
listener. So now that I have to listen because I have headphones into my ears. When you put on anime, what is your perfect scenario? Because I know what I'm looking for as like a target bullseye when I'm like browsing the porn universe.
Yeah.
I kind of know what I like. What's your bullseye of anime porn?
Honestly, I'm kind of all over the place. Like I kind of go through phases where I shift to different things. Right now, it's actually, and I like that you said anime instead of hentai too, because I've been kind of mislabeling it as hentai.
Yeah.
When really I watch all sorts
What's
of
the
animated
difference? 'Cause
porn.
I don't know.
So hentai is like Japanimation, I believe.
So it's just Japan? Is that the
Yeah, so it's
key?
like Sailor Moon type thing. So hentai would be like that type of animation, whereas animated could be anything. It could be computer animated. It could be
It's usually cutesy,
Could it be like
right?
Family Guy style animation?
yeah, exactly. It could be anything. It could be any
Jetson
type of-
porn, Flintstones porn, fuck mate.
that
When that
exist?
shit came out,
Does that
lost my
exist?
mind. Yeah, dude, back in the day. I'm talking
you send me
like
some links?
early 2000s. Yeah. I guess I'll have to find some. But
Okay, for real.
When that came
Imagine
out,
they made
tripped me out.
like a full porn with
Movie.
like Peter and Lois Griffin fucking. I mean like full.
Oh, yeah,
Where,
that
like,
exists.
She
So
it's
hops
already
and she's,
on.
like,
That
doing the,
definitely
like,
it's like,
exists.
yeah, it's already on,
Yeah.
Oh, I need to find that.
bro. I don't. Y'all look talking about.
It doesn't make me
Pornhub.
hot.
Pornhub's too
Like, it doesn't
disgusting.
make me horny, but I just want to watch it to see what like because I feel like Lois would be a freak, for example.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. She
loves
is.
to
She
cock
is in the show, anyways.
Yeah.
But anyways, you asked me a
Sorry.
question.
I'm bad. I'm bad. So you
what's
just caught me off
my
guard. Yes, what's your favorite
What's
thing?
my go-to right now? My go-to is the what's the girl from Tomb Raider?
Lara Croft.
Lara Croft. So they've got some freaky stuff with Lara Croft, and it's usually, to be like full disclosure, it is usually kind of rapey. It's usually like the 5 like guys
Trigger,
like assassins
trigger.
or whatever like find Lara Croft in her bunker and like kidnap her and like have her way with her type thing. Yeah. So like that's my thing right now, but I go all over the place.
That's a bit
That's
much.
so specific.
What if you
and
like grew up playing
incredible.
Tomb Raider and you like full love her?
I
off?
did
Is that-
grow up. I did
well,
grow up playing
I gotta-
Tomb Raider. Yeah. So I love
Well,
Lara
okay,
Croft.
there is no denying
Lara.
that Lara Croft was.
Hot AF.
Listen, I struggle to say it because at the same time as Lara Croft was a fox, and there's no denying it, and we all wanted to fuck Lara Croft when we were young. She's also was absurdly big tittied and thin, and like I also sort of felt like I was being the problem when I say that because she's like the least realistic body shape I've ever seen.
As far as like an action hero
Weight
goes,
to
yeah.
weight to titty ratio is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
And based on her profession, I feel like they couldn't be fake. Nobody with that profession would go get fake titties.
Yeah.
So
So they're just
they were
real.
suggesting she was born with giant tits like that. And so I kind of feel bad saying it. That's all I'm saying is that Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's sort of the
not
worst in a
realistic.
way.
Yeah. And yeah.
Back then, we
Because it
weren't
was
thinking
probably
like that.
was it like because it probably was run by men, right? Whatever studio made Laura Croft was
Yeah,
definitely
fuck.
dudes.
I would guess. Yeah. Yeah, I would guess so.
And they're making a movie coming up. I bet you they've made her far more realistic looking in this coming movie.
Yeah.
Like, am I being crazy right now? She's kind of got like a Barbie body, but
Well, no,
even kinda
Angelina
crazier.
Jolie played her, right? And she
Yeah,
had an
yeah.
Angelina Jolie body. she
Yeah,
was
for
she
sure.
was extremely skinny with really big boobs.
Does Jolie have
really big
huge
lips.
boobies like?
Yes.
I didn't know.
Yes.
I never thought. I don't think
100%.
about Jolie's
Big lips,
boobies
big
in quite
boobies,
some
cool.
time.
Yeah, and she's a perfect example of that, really skinny big boobs. So it is a body type. It's just not a super common.
And I'm not
body
trying
type.
to body shame the really
no.
skinny big
But it
boobs.
is also
beautiful,
it is
no.
also the male gaze, like the male fantasy body
Yeah.
type too, where
It's
she's like
just-
athletic, this Tomb Raider girl with like tiny waist and giant
Little
boobs.
khaki shorts on.
Because
Fucking,
when people say that about like Tekken, I'm always like, chill.
Right.
Whatever that character's name is, like I can't think of these female names, but like
Like Chun-Li.
Chun-Li.
Yeah.
That's Street Fighter, isn't it?
It's very fantasy to me.
Yeah, that's Street
it's
Fighter, not Tekken.
sorry.
I love how you know what Tekken is.
That was so
You're not
racist
even
of
that.
us.
Tekken's gangster.
Yeah, but no, but you know what I mean. There's this argument that of like the Mortal Kombat girls, the Street Fighter girls are
They always have zero armor. They're just like in bare
and it's
minimum
all
clothing.
titty, no armor.
Yeah.
But I'm on board with that argument. But it's also more fantasy, so it doesn't feel as silly. It's like yeah, they're wearing what they're wearing. There's also a green goblin wearing orange overalls. Like
Right.
it is what it is. But Lara Croft is like a real woman in real real world places,
Yeah.
fighting bears, climbing, and they gave her the biggest titties of like any video game character ever. It's just really funny.
Yeah.
Looking back, it's just really funny. I bet you in like 50 years they'll look back at that like LOL.
Yeah, yeah.
Like all their video
It'll
game
be a
characters
meme
look like
of, yeah.
porn
Yeah,
stars.
yeah. Right, right.
You know what I mean? Anyways,
Do you
I'm
want
too
to?
woke. I'm too woke right
Do you
now.
want to know where
Speaking of work,
mom is on the men's most search list of porn?
Well, it's been at number one.
So
in
it's
the past.
essentially number one
Okay.
because MILF is number one. So that means
Jeez.
other people's moms.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
usually means other people's moms.
Yep.
But I guess if you're, I'd guess that you dabble in MILF if you also like mom.
Except I learned something. I gotta be careful how I tell this story because how I learned it is not shareable.
Yes.
But I learned from somebody I know who's older that they use that as a search term just to weed out the young people because they're old.
Oh, okay.
So it's like old people watching porn and they want to see somebody of their equal age.
Oh, so instead of doing old porn, because then you're gonna get like really old.
70s.
yeah,
pubes.
You
MILF
just
is
do,
like,
like,
saying
MILF.
I want to find is for real kind of agey. It's like I
Okay.
want to find someone 30
So
to
that's
45.
actually really
cougars.
smart.
And then they say mature if you're looking for a porn star who's like 46 to 60. Guys, I watch too much. I'm
Number
sorry.
2 though is stepmom. So number 2 stepmom. Number 3 is Japanese. So that's
healthy.
That's cool.
Japanese women are beautiful. That's
cool.
healthy.
Yeah. Number 4 is hentai for men as well. Number 4 is hentai for women and for men. So hentai is probably a growing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that men watch it as much as women.
Number 5 is mom. So it skips right from stepmom to mom. So we haven't even gotten to like
anything else.
we haven't even gotten to like
Big tits.
there's anal. Anal's pretty far down on the list. Mom and stepmom are way higher than
right up there,
anal.
man.
Wow. Okay. Just so we're clear, the quote "Mom and stepmom are way higher than anal" is the quote I'm promoting this whole episode
Yes.
with.
And this is from, if anybody wants to search this, if anyone thinks we're crazy,
Yeah.
this is from Pornhub. They release it every year. This is from 2017, year in review from
I'm
Pornhub.
shocked, man. There's
And
so many.
Yeah.
Feel free to review it. Go look at it. Tweet us at Damaged Goods Pod. Don't Instagram us because I feel like then you have to show your followers that you're looking into this creepy porn stuff. But send us, like, if you have a different analysis of this, I would honestly love to hear.
Oh, babe,
about
do you
it.
know what we should do? And this is because this is our first podcast. Be patient with us. We need to set up an email for this podcast as well.
We do.
questions.
So you guys can email us questions and stuff.
For now, tweet us, and in future episodes, we will talk about an email address.
Yeah, we'll definitely set
Although
that
I
up.
think I might have set one up. I just don't know it. I don't,
Okay.
Because I don't email anybody. Emails are like phone calls these days.
But
Like,
I think
email me, I'm like,
it is
who are you
good
and
for.
Why are you trying to
I
contact
think it
me?
is good for private questions like that. Like if we're talking about something that you have input on, but you don't
Yeah.
necessarily want your identity out there.
And in the future, I would love to start giving wise pieces of advice to people, and you can ask us confidential questions via email.
there you go.
We're not there yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
I'm feeling myself. Can you feel it
I'm
right now?
surprised that those two, like, the two things that I kind of usually would, when I'm scrolling through, I wouldn't actually actively search for it, like the massage porn, black chicks.
Massage
fucking,
porn-
that's right down the bottom, dog.
Massage porn is sort
I
of.
feel
And
kind of
that's
like
also
left out
of the
now.
that's also the bottom of like the top
Of the
10
top
list
ten.
or
Okay, so
whatever.
that's-
So
yeah.
it's still up there. It's just at the bottom. Yeah, like mom comes
I
way
don't-
before that.
I don't search for mum porn ever, dog. Like
Mum.
anal porn, I don't actually search for it. Just come
MUM is
across
so
it.
much
know it works.
creepier.
Like, you know it's going to be, you're not going to drop it in at some stage. Whether it's the thumb or the tip, mate, it's coming in there. But like,
Wow.
it's like, I don't know, it happens.
Wow.
Some people are just like, hey,
So can I tell you what I think about?
interesting list though, still.
Because I'm messed up. So, and I'm messed up in a different way than most people are. So I'm messed up in the way that when I watch porn, I wonder about like the project management of the porn. So, for example,
Me too, which is why I need to not watch real porn.
For example, do the girls have talks with their agents? Who are like, listen, farting's in. How good are you at farting? Or like they have to like have like these convos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, because let's be real, anal's difficult. And if I was a woman, because I'm really come to a place where being a man and being a woman is very similar, and so many women, one of them I'm going to marry, doesn't want it in the ass. You know what I mean? And I don't want to give it, so we're good. But so neither do I, BTW. You know what I mean?
Still got a thumb.
Some guys like it, and that's totally fine. I know some straight guys who like it. I only know that because of somebody who shared and they shouldn't have. But there are people of all shapes and sizes who like it. But I don't. And if my agent were to come to me and be like, listen, so where the industry's going, this thing's up your bum. It's just like, well, okay, no problem. I'm not interested. And in like 2014, your agent was like, no problem. You're going to miss out on a bit of money, but no sweat. By 2016, that same porn agent is just like, listen, if you don't start putting shit up your ass soon, I can't get
no
you jobs.
No jobs,
Yeah.
mate.
And that's like, I would honestly want to watch a reality show about that. Like just like the business behind. And I also want to know like the preparation. Like the day before. Does she call her boyfriend the day before and say, so tomorrow's the shoot. I want you to know about it. Babe, we trust each other. I never do these shoots without telling you. Because many porn stars have boyfriends, right? And husbands.
yeah.
And it's like, tomorrow's the shoot. Do they turn the phone off all day? Like what's like the strategy?
Get
Like,
an enema.
That's the stuff I think about.
Yeah.
Is
I'm
that
surprised
weird?
you can even watch porn at all.
Yeah,
that weird?
you're so
No,
far
that's-
behind the scenes.
That's not
dog.
weird because we're content creators. So it's like whenever we see stuff that has lighting, that has cameras, that has whatever,
think
you're
about it
always
too.
thinking about stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so do you think
sure.
about that
Sometimes,
stuff?
the other day I was watching one, and this dude had the sickest cameraman, and it had someone else, filming from over there. So it's certain scenes you could see the dude's camera. It was always for like 4, 5, 7 seconds. I was like, yeah, that camera's pretty sick. Wonder what lens the cunt's got. Excuse me. And I was like, just going through the production part of it, and like, oh, they got it happens from time to time. For the most part, I'm in the zone, in and out,
In
boom,
the
boom.
zone, in and out.
Just no time for fucking about. So sometimes I do think about production value while I'm doing it. That's why I can't watch movies, man. Like, it drives me nuts. Like,
Yeah.
Movies and TV shows.
yeah.
have that
And for
problem,
example, like back in the day, I used to do media class, and I really got into that thing. So when I watched The Sixth Sense, I figured out Bruce Lee died at the start, mate. So like, I was like, okay, he's dead, cool, he's a ghost, like whatever. And then that was the thing at the end. Fucking pissed me off. Like, I occasionally would just see through movies, so like I just stopped enjoying them after learning all that.
Yeah, for
switching
sure.
from porn
Yeah.
on that subject. You know what I'm really into, and I know you're really into, is when they do timepieces, like whether it's the 80s in the movie on some Stranger Things shit,
Right.
or whether it's Peaky Blinders, or whether it's Braveheart, whatever
Dope.
era we're talking about, you know what I mean? And they have to make a building,
Everything.
a city block,
Yeah.
several city
town.
blocks, a town in an era.
Yeah.
Somebody please make a documentary about how they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's really
Like the-
because they must clean the town out of cars, or let's say more. What happens most often? You see like a city block,
right.
clean it out of anything new, like wipe
Yes.
that area clean,
Get ads from that time.
bring
like,
in new cars from the 80s,
Yeah.
signs from the
You'd
80s.
be surprised how often stuff is done in studios. Because I often, when we're watching something, I'll be like, "That could be a studio." You're like, "No, it's sometimes this."
No, it definitely sometimes.
If
is,
it's a
but when
street,
city
it's
block,
sometimes just the outsides of the buildings, and it's a studio.
and they just build.
And they bring a car in to park in front of the building. They
like
bring in all that stuff.
semi-permanent
And I'm not saying it
studios.
always is. Obviously, sometimes it actually is a town.
sense, yeah.
yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
That's less interesting than
Imagine,
if they have to
having
do
that
it.
car business.
Sorry.
Imagine
Sorry
being the
to-
guy.
No. I just want the real, baby. Give me the real.
Just gonna say, like, imagine the guy with that car business that leases all those old cabs from the
Well, you can look
80s
Yeah,
and shit.
totally.
because
Like,
we're in production. We look
must
those
be
companies
dozens
up
of them or
sometimes,
hundreds
and
of
they're companies, and all they do. There's one company, and all
have
it does
oldest fucking
is
cars.
police cars from over the years.
Damn.
police cars from the 80s, 90s. What do you need, a Texas sheriff's car? Or you need an FBI unmarked vehicle, but you can still kind of tell it's an FBI car. It's like, and so it's like,
guys.
those companies exist.
Yeah, that's
for
crazy.
sure.
Man. That's so niche.
And we'll get into this more on another podcast, but I used to work at a costume store. I think you knew that. Malabar, the costume store. Yeah. So I worked there for like years and years. And so we got to see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff of like the show Splice. Was that a show?
I don't know.
Or the Split, I don't know, some sci-fi show. And they would come in and say rent like all of our cop costumes on one for one day or whatever. Or they would rent all of our hazmat suits for like some other day or something like that. So that was really cool to see. That's something we could talk about more in the future.
Yeah, we should bring somebody who worked with you.
Totally.
And we can get into some tales.
We have so many crazy stories.
I worked there for what would have been 3 days.
Yeah, like it'd probably be like October 29th, 30th, 31st or something.
So for fun.
And to help me, because I was managing there, so I needed the hands.
So before Jess quit her day job and works now with me on the lyricvids.com biz full time, and she's also a key part of my music business, helps with the tour planning and other stuff. But before she did that full time, she managed one of Toronto's oldest, most established. There's a well-known spot. It's like they win the award for like best costume store like most years. In Toronto, it's an old building. Like there's like
well, the company's existed since 1923. The building itself, they've been in there since the 50s.
Bam.
But it was like a bank before then or whatever.
Super old, awesome building. We shot music videos and like we shot One Man Army on like one of the like the floors.
Oh, cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just a really cool spot. And when I met Jess, she was working there. And one of the Halloweens, I went in. I worked 3 days. So like 29th, 30th, 31st. It is one of the most interesting experiences of my life because it's right downtown Toronto. So you're right in the nitty gritty of like Canada's most interesting offerings of people. You know what I'm saying? Just in terms of like what they're wearing. It's super near the gay village. So I've been, have lots of gay friends and like, thumbs up to everybody on the rainbow, But I've never worked at a retail store walking distance from Church Street. So I really got a really frontline, like met a guy in a John Deere hat who to me looks like a farmer. And then 5 seconds later, he's wearing stiletto boots. And that was just like a really awesome experience.
Nice.
And so
he was like, do you have these in a size 12?
John Deere trucker hat, pink rhinestone, like stiletto, like knee-high boots.
Damn.
And it was just like super eye-opening experience. You know what I mean? In terms of like the gamut of human beings that exist in Toronto.
Yeah.
And I'll remember that forever. Just some of the, I remember we talked about Chun-Li, funny enough. I had this amazing experience where like this like shy Asian girl came in and like with a costume and I was working the change rooms in a costume store. So it was really fun. And then she came out wearing the Chun-Li costume and she looked exactly like Chun-Li. And I don't mean like racist, all Asian people look the same like Chun-Li. I mean, she essentially could play her in a movie.
She was like fit and like...
And I, ever since, have like kind of a fetish for that because if you've
when
never
you watch
seen...
that hentai porn...
If you've never seen a real life hentai anime character walk out of a change room and be like, can you zip me up? Like, it was just too much.
Instant stiff.
It was too much. It was too much. Sorry. So it was just a really fun experience working. Dope. And I'll remember that forever. Now Jess doesn't work there anymore. You work full-time here.
Quick shout out to Malabar, though. I love everybody there. I'm still super close with everyone there. Malabar.net, all your costume needs. We sell special effects. They sell special effects. I still say we all the time.
Player. I love it.
I worked there for so long, and I'm still super tight with everyone who's still there. So, if you ever need anything, it's a great place.
And I think
it's a fun experience.
When you have Shayla or somebody, and you can talk more about fun stories and
definitely
and
we could
go celebrities
off.
that have popped by and all that stuff.
Yeah, weird requests that we get there. Yeah, it's all over the place.
I would love to talk about one of my things, and I'm scrolling like a mofo because my phone is old and I lost it. And I think the one I'd like to talk about on this podcast because I want to be tasteful about it, and time's gonna pass, and I think we'll talk about it as it evolves. All I wrote down is Mall Santa serial killer because I'm really intrigued about this subject. Toronto's not had one of these yet, like a high profile crime of this nature, we'll call it.
At least not in a long
That's
time.
why I said high profile, just in terms of it being like in pop culture like that. California's had their share of them, and the state certainly has. And it was really weird reading it as it evolved here in Toronto. So for people from around the world who maybe it didn't pop up on your social media newsfeed and wherever you get your news, for quite some time here in Toronto, and we just talked about the gay village, so this is a great segue. Jess, do you remember this? Do you want to talk about like kind of what happened? What was the precursor? Like what were we as Torontonians hearing in the year leading up to this?
Yeah, for sure. So I think it was in the summer. I might have the time totally off. I think it was in the summer or last spring or whatever.
I think you're right.
2 gentlemen from the village went missing. And everyone was speculating that they thought it was a serial killer. And that could just be people, freaking out, expecting the worst, whatever. But the police were like, no, we don't think it's a serial killer. I think they're 2 isolated cases. We're looking into it, blah, blah, blah. And then just recently, about a month ago or something?
Yeah, it was was it January or December? It didn't feel like it was around the holidays, but.
No, it was before the holidays for sure. Because in
it?
December, they released more information.
Okay, so let's say November, December, but
I could be wrong. I
sure,
could be
recently.
Wrong. Anyways, then, yeah, we found out that it was. And he did, in fact, kill those 2 men, the same 2 men that were missing.
And more, right?
And more, yeah. Yeah, so 6 people found on his property. Including the 2 that went missing. So the 2 that originally went missing, they also found there was a homeless man. There was.
Didn't they find somebody alive still?
Yeah. So when they broke into his property or whatever to arrest him, there was someone tied to his bed who was unharmed. Wow. So who knows? It might have just been somebody he was having, some fun with or whatever. Who knows whether it would have led to something? But imagine that if you were that person, like that would have been like, oh my God, I just had my life saved.
In every movie about this, they always have. I'm trying not to sound
the one
like
who got away.
Ass. Yeah, like the one who gets away, right?
Yeah.
And it's such like a plot point to show. And I think the reason they do it in movies is to show that line between life and death. Like this guy so easily could have been one of the dead victims. In real life, this is not a plot point. This is real.
There'll definitely be a movie or a documentary or something about this someday. I think.
There's gotta be.
So basically he was a landscaper, and he hid the body parts in potted plants and things, which I believe they found mostly on his property, but they did,
That's insane.
They have searched 2 more other people's property who he was hired to landscape their properties.
He works with many properties, right?
Yeah, he works with lots of properties. So, 30 places that he worked over the past few years have been identified. So they found his client list or whatever. The 30 places he worked at have been identified, and they plan to excavate at least 2 of those. So they have enough reason to think at least 2 of those might have more evidence.
Oh my God.
But I'm sure they're still searching the other ones. They're not necessarily going to excavate their whole gardens.
But they'll look for evidence that this has happened. Maybe they'll do some shit where they're like.
But they've seized a lot of planters from all these properties to check them because they found body parts in his planters at his own house. I believe.
Sure.
I am not the expert on this. I'm just going with what I've read.
And just in general, I don't have the time to be the expert on anything.
No.
We're just going to.
Yeah,
we're going to speak to our best.
For anybody who's watching this for the first time, if you're on board for this whole thing, we're not the experts on anything.
We're going to speak to our best ability. And if I'm wrong,
definitely let us know. Message us, whatever. Let us know.
I'm happy to correct myself. Yeah. If I said something horrible and I've completely got it backwards, I'm happy to correct it. I know there's many sides to stories and that there's and new information might be revealed later, or maybe we've missed some information. I just don't worry about that because I think intention matters, and we're just talking about it from a good place,
sure.
What?
So 6 victims. We've got a gentleman in Toronto, and I think the fact that he was a mall Santa is really unrelated. But is it? Jessica?
It's unsettling, mate.
But Jessica, is it?
No, he's queuing me up for that.
Jessica,
after I just gave such a good shout out to...
Is it? Jessica, is it unrelated?
Okay. So at the time when I was working at the costume store, I personally found that every mall Santa that came in to get a Santa costume, to get a bell, to get a new hat, whatever they were getting,
Santa accessories,
were all off. And that's very sad to me. And just I don't have children, so I don't have to worry about it too much. I'm not sitting on any Santa's laps, But if you are bringing your children to Santa's is an awesome tradition. It makes your kids feel good, makes the parents feel good. But maybe just consider that other than, I guess they probably have police checks and stuff before they work at a mall.
Yeah, I would say at a good mall, they probably
But they don't really have character checks. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Just from my experience, I haven't met very many who were warm fuzzies. I've met a couple. There's been a couple that were what's the guy he's from Jurassic Park and he was on Miracle on whatever 64th Street or whatever. So I have met a couple of those and they're awesome and they're doing great work. But for the most part, I would say 80% of the mall Santas that I met, or the anything Santas, parade Santas, mall Santas, whatever, were a little bit weird. And weird being socially awkward, weird being potentially alcoholics, weird being bad BO, weird being all those things and being bad, having bad BO.
Poor hygiene, I would say.
Yeah.
Is
That's why you get a good mold.
It's a bit of a flag when,
Sure.
yeah.
It doesn't mean he's
It
going to
doesn't
kill
mean-
people.
it doesn't mean he's
gonna.
gonna-
But it's worth considering.
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah. So
I've seen some scary ones.
So like Anthony said, this is unrelated because not all
but I
Maltese
think it
Santas
is-
are serial killers.
But you've got a really interesting perspective in that how many people have met 12 or 24, I only talk in dozens, mall Santas. And I haven't personally. And so when you said that to me, I always thought that was an interesting anecdote. And then so when this happened, I thought that was funny. And I think things happen for pretty obvious reasons. You know, Santas are seasonal jobs. I used to work in a position where I hired people for seasonal jobs. And people who are available seasonally for a reason. So sometimes they're students. Students are available seasonally. Maybe their semester just ended, but students don't play Santa. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's, you know, their job doesn't start for a little while. And that's a thing. But sometimes it's got a rehab. Sometimes it's, I'm unemployable.
Yeah, but
You know
that would come up in their like their check, wouldn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, rehab wouldn't
I
necessarily.
don't think so.
Okay.
No, if they went not for criminal reasons, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But the point I'm making is when I hired seasonal people, a lot of sketchy people came in because they were available seasonally for a reason. They're not employable. And so they were available for even a 3-week job or a 6-week job. And I think mall Santas are no different than that. You know what I mean? I think it just makes sense that those are the people applying for those jobs. And the fact that they're middle-aged men, they're drinking whiskey. That's what middle-aged men do.
Yeah.
The sketchy people who came in to my job interviews were cokeheads because they were 22. And it's like a different kind of sketchy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't become like whiskey alcoholics until older.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, we're not making any blanket statements about mall
If you're
Santas.
a mall Santa, we're sorry. We know that you're not going to kill anybody.
And the ones who are good are doing awesome things and are
doing
bringing
God's work.
joy to so many people.
Yeah.
And
Listen, your observations.
it's also sucks that the
your
serial
observations.
killer has given a cast a dark shadow on mall Santas.
A wide dark shadow.
It's wide.
To Santa.
Anyways, we're drawing near to the end of this podcast, and I think we should move on from this depressing topic.
I'm surprised
little
that you're
different. I wasn't
standing up
expecting
for
this
mall Santas.
Yeah.
I just this thing that happened in Toronto was very unfortunate,
Yeah,
and I don't want to.
No, we're not going to end on it. No problem.
I didn't mean that. I just mean I don't want to paint it as in like all mall Santas are evil, and that's why this happened. You
No,
know what I mean?
and the point I made about it being, it's really an afterthought. I only mentioned it in passing.
Yeah, because it's an
for-
interesting fact about my past
and you
career.
have an anecdote that most people don't have.
For
And
sure.
I think most people have a little question mark about mall Santas, a little bit like they had one interaction with him and he was a little weird or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they might enjoy that your knowledge that goes a little deeper rings true to that.
Totally.
So what do you want to end at? What do you want to end on? What do you got for me then?
So
What you got for me then?
we've got this little thing that we wanted to do called Jess versus Soundhound.
Are you ready, Notion?
And if Notion wants to do it too, I would love that. No pressure.
Okay.
I think you should do it, Notion.
I'm a little scared.
I think you should do it.
ready.
So
I'm gonna sit back and
basically,
take it in. You guys
have
take
a
it.
go.
I'll you might need to talk while I get the app ready
I
and
can do
stuff
that,
like
no
that.
problem.
Yeah, please.
But I'll explain how the game works in a second once I get this up and running.
So right now I'm making Notion drink.
Thanks, mate.
I appreciate that.
I just don't want to leave and,
No, I appreciate. You didn't drive, right?
No.
Okay, good. Because I know you had that like bus you were driving earlier.
big bus.
Pouring Notion drink right now. Do you like it strong
That's good.
or weak?
That's good. Just not too much on the Coke, mate.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll give
So
you
whatever you want for that.
Oh, for sure.
All right. So Jess versus Soundhound. So basically what this game is, if you've never heard of the app Soundhound, and we're not sponsored by them, it's
Not at
just,
all.
it's
Not
just a
affiliated
cool
at
app
all.
that we found. It's basically an app that you can hum a song into or la 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 a song into, and it tells you what song it is, which is amazing. There was what was the other app, Shazam or whatever?
Yeah. It's like Shazam for your voice.
But Shazam, to me, it's pretty amazing technology because Shazam actually hears the literal song with the same BPM, with whatever, and it tells you what song it is. That's not that amazing. But Soundhound, you're singing it off beat.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily a
Off
good
key.
singer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it tells you what song. So basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull 3 songs and I'm gonna pick my favorite of the 3, just so I don't get one shitty
Sure.
one that I really don't want to do. And I'm gonna hum it or la 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 it or whatever, and then I'll let you guys know whether the app guessed it correctly, and then I'll give you guys a moment to guess it. Does that make sense?
Sure,
What'd you do?
He poured
So
So I want to know what's going on here. What did you just do?
I put all the whiskey in his cup and all the Coke in my
his
cup.
I never seen. I was like,
That's
I didn't want to
so
interrupt. I was like,
hilarious.
oh, what's going on?
We've learned that Ill Vibe isn't the best at multitasking.
Listen, I'm a legend.
Love it.
but
Love it.
If you're watching, you can
Okay, so you
rewind
hum-
and rewatch that moment.
So I'm basically trying to be. All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Are
So
we both gonna jump in, or we just?
I'm
just-
Okay, so you guys don't have to sing it at all.
Thanks, mate.
So I'm just gonna do mine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hum it. I'm gonna press the button. I'm gonna tell you whether the app got it right. I'll be like, yeah, the app got it right. And then I'm also gonna ask you, do you know what it was?
Right.
So don't say anything until I ask you if you knew what it was. Okay. Just another preface.
Sure.
I can't sing, so this is just like
Yeah, no, you're not like a professional singer flexing
no,
right
no.
now. This is just
Okay.
for fun.
Okay. La 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 la. La 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 la. Okay, we don't do the whole thing. So let's see. The app is thinking. The app's wondering.
App better got it. That was easy.
Okay, was that an easy one?
Even I got it. So
Okay, so the app did get it correct.
Notion. What is the song?
It's CeeLo, right?
Yeah.
F you.
F you.
Fuck you. I'm gonna try it.
You wanna do one of
swear on our
these?
I
podcast.
can't sing. No.
Yeah, you can.
No.
Pick one. You can do it.
Can you do it?
Pick one. You could do it.
Pick what?
Like, do you want to do what I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
did?
yeah. You could do it.
Sure, man.
You could do
Okay.
it.
So
Good,
pick
sure.
pick three, just in case you don't know the song. Pick
Oh,
three,
that's gonna happen.
and then pick one out of the three.
Pick one you could
I
do.
think I put mine in by accident. So if you get mine, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that one. It'd be funny if we just keep singing that one
Just-
forever.
la, la, la,
It's
la,
always
la.
CeeLo Green. Fuck you. If you're on this podcast in like 10 years, it's still gonna be CeeLo Green. Fuck you.
At the end of each episode. La, 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 la.
Oh my god.
Okay, so you're gonna sing it.
Can I just
Jess,
go-
you
Can
should
I
run.
say
You
the
should run the
words?
app.
No,
though.
just go- no,
No, you got to go
right?
like na 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 na. You
Okay.
can't say the words.
So press that button whenever you're ready, and
to
don't
hold
start
it?
singing. No, just press
Okay.
it, and then don't start singing till you see it
This is
spinning.
great. This is the high tech.
Bum 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 bum. I can't remember the rest of it. It made me laugh.
Is that it? So
I know what it
press the
is.
button again.
I know what it is.
So I don't think the app's gonna get it. So the app's thinking now, and then it'll tell you whether it got it or not.
Let's see if it gets it.
I think
As
the
this
app needs a little more.
This ongoing ad for Soundhound continues.
There were no close matches.
No, but I know what it is though.
Yeah.
Was it Britney Spears?
It was Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again.
Yeah.
Wow, you got it on a ow, 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 ow. 6 notes. Impressive, mate.
Sick no.
Wow. So if you guys want to play this game at home,
rip
all you have to do is download SoundHound and hum into it, and it gets most of the songs. I think they all have to be like 2000s
Pretty
songs
mainstream.
and pretty mainstream songs. Yeah.
We tried my songs, and Soundhound's like, he ain't shit. Soundhound's like, we looked into him, and we think you should move on to a better, more talented rapper. In your life, romance, and in your podcast partnerships.
Oh my god.
That's what it said. It was pretty, to be honest, pretty specific and pretty harsh.
Nah.
Well, one thing that this first podcast has taught us is that we can talk for a long time because we went like over our time.
What time is it right
no,
now?
so we're not over our time. We're at 1:47.
Okay, great.
So we were saying, oh, it's gonna be between 1 and 2, and we're
Yeah.
like almost hitting 2 now.
We're doing great. That feels really great.
Yeah, no, and I could keep going. We could like, talk for like another hour, but
Ready.
we won't.
We won't. I don't know how to manage file sizes of that nature.
So Notion, what do you have going on right now? You have the Valentine's Day mixtape coming out, right?
Yeah. In a couple of days, so that's going to be our 10th one in a row. So that's crazy, man. Like
10 years.
10 mixtapes.
Did you guys
of love
say,
and
is there-
affection.
am I going to be on this one? Did you mention I'm going to be on a record on this one, or no? Am I completely making this
I
up?
think I might be putting that song "Real Talk" that's on my album with
Yes,
you on it, and
please
Jonathan
do.
Emile. So
Please do, because then it gives me a reason to promote it.
bam.
I don't promote shit I'm not involved with.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's really special because my homie Glenn Tiskovich of Nothing to Hide Tattoos in Australia is one of my homies from high school, day one. He designed the cover, like hand drew it. I scanned it up, and then we've used literally the same cover for 10 years. I've just in Photoshop changed the colors and like made it all different.
That's
We've
funny.
given every volume a name. So like one volume,
What's
like
this year's
3 or
name?
4 was called like the panty dropper. This one's called this one's called A Decade of Love.
Oh, okay.
Bam. So yeah, I'm
Sounds
gonna.
like R. Kelly's greatest hits album.
It's pretty cool, man. Because every
No,
single
don't ruin it.
yeah, every year we drop it, and it's like whatever we've kind of been listening to, like C for the most part curates what we all did it, like our whole Movement fan crew, all the homies in Australia have been doing it. Like we all put our 2-5 songs in. That's how we did it. And then as it went on, like, you know, C Tiffin and myself, we all just chuck in. And then in the last like 3 years, C's done it all by himself. And he's like, you have anything to add? Here's a song from me, get one from you, fucking boom. So that's how we're doing it. And Craig's actually like, you know, just done the order in the last few years. It's been banging. So it's been a group team effort for the whole 10 years, but to have something coming out every fucking February 14th for 10 years is crazy to me, because that's, I don't know. We didn't think about that at the start. Right?
What I love about that is for the fans on the outside, of course, it's a great way to reach out to new people. And there's a lot of great reasons to do something like that. But even outside of the business, it becomes this cool thing that you do. And every year as Valentine's Day comes, you're like, are we going to do it again? It's like this cool thing that you're going to do every year.
Yep.
Every year I do something called the Free Vibe,
Dope.
Free Vibe Friday or whatever. I don't do them on Fridays anymore. It's way too
Isn't it called Free Vibe now?
Yeah, that's right. It's way too many Fridays in a year, so it just became the annual Free Vibe. And I haven't done one this year. I always do it in January, February, March. I haven't done it yet.
Figure it out, mate.
I did a different video instead recently, which is why I haven't done it yet. But it's similar in the way that when it's coming up, I'm like, oh yeah, this is that thing I do every year. And I think there's something to that. You know what I mean? Where like you can almost make your life more fun just by building in
around something
like an annualness to it, or like
a regular.
It doesn't matter if it's annual. It could be twice a year. It could be you do it every spring and fall. It doesn't matter. And by the way, that goes for marketing ideas like this, or also, by the way, if every summer we did a camping trip, by the third summer, it would be the camping trip.
Right.
And I think people have lost that a little bit. I hate being the grumpy old man who go, people have lost it. This used to be some shit back in the day that we did it. It was amazing. And y'all fucked up and stopped doing
Remember that.
But
I like your sexy old man voice.
oh, he got it. He still gets hard, no Viagra, okay?
Straight inspiration. Spank bank.
Bruh.
100, mate.
You know how he does it? Regular masturbation.
I was going to say,
It's
like,
the key. He keeps
stacks
the
of
muscle
wanking.
worked out. It's like a bicep.
Keeps your sack like medium to low.
But when you do those regular things, it starts to create some magic to it.
Yeah.
Like the survival of the illest thing that we do every year. And by the time you get to 6 years, media outlets start being like, oh, this is a thing.
they're still
It's
around?
just,
What the fuck?
all you did is not quit for 5 years.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I think there's something to that. And so
persistence, yeah.
your 10 years of doing that is really cool.
crazy,
Kudos. Valentine's Day is this week.
Yep.
Where can people find the Valentine's Day mixtape?
Movementfam.com. It'll be on Spotify. It'll be everywhere.
Is it The Movement Fam?
The
or
Movement Fam.
TheMovementFam.com.
That's what we usually
Cool.
keep
And
that.
what's your social media again? Just
For myself, so it's Notion Baby on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And if you're going for my production, it's Ill Note Studios on Facebook and Instagram. And then for the crew, it's at The Movement Fam. For the beer podcast, it's at BAOS Podcast. And that's the same on Facebook too.
Cool.
So that's where you can find me. Give me a shout.
nice.
Shake your day.
As for us, you can check us out on Damaged Goods Pod, and that's on Twitter and Instagram.
Yep.
Also on Facebook, you can search Damaged Goods, and you'll find us. Any closing statements, Elvibe?
We haven't decided if we're going to do this weekly, bi-weekly, monthly yet. I think we're going to just kind of decide as we go. But if you're listening and you feel like you want more episodes, let us know, because we're making decisions right now. So, we're looking for supporters and fans and listeners who can help kind of inform some of those decisions.
Yeah.
So if you are listening and you think, hey, like, I loved that, and because I listen to podcasts so much, I could take one every week, and we're hearing that from a number of people, that's going to be great information.
Well, if you guys want it every week, we'll do it every week.
No, totally. So yeah, I would love to know, how much do you listen? Do you listen to it right away? And then as we go forward, you like run out really quickly? Because some of my favorite podcasts, we burn through it. And then it's like,
where's the next one?
Where's nothing? And then so we start listening to podcasts from like 2015 from that person. And so if I had a way of telling those people like, hey, I would totally listen to more episodes, I would love that. So if you are listening and you would, let us know. If we're making too many episodes and you want just one a year, fuck you. That's us. My name is Illy. If you are listening to this and you mess with the hip hop side, which is not everybody, you can catch me live in concert. I'm playing across California in March.
Bam.
March 1st to the 15th, I think. from San Diego to San Francisco. April 20th in Toronto, my first show ever with a live band.
It's going to be epic.
They're amazing. They're fucking awesome guys, and they're great musicians, and I'm so excited to play my new music with a full band. April 20th in Toronto. I got some tickets for you I want to give you. And other places as well. I'm playing Netherlands. I'm playing France. I'd like to tour Canada, touring America again in the fall. So stay tuned. If you're somewhere and you want me to come play in your space, come tweet me. On top of the podcast, you can tweet me, Ill Vibe Music. Instagram, I'm Ill Vibe. On Instagram, you're for Jess Robert. You don't really mess with Twitter too tough.
Not a big Twitter person.
For now, if you want to tweet at Jess,
at the Damaged Goods
Podcast,
Damaged Goods Pod,
and you can feel free to put Jess's name in it, and I'll make sure she sees it because I'm the Twitter fiend in the relationship. Love it. That's my closing note. I fucks with you. This has been my dream for a really long time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching and listening.
Thanks again to DeMello Paletta Coffee House and LarryGoods.com. And thanks to the listeners.
That's us. Next time.
Spacebar?
Yep.